Do I miss?
Let's go.
How are you guys doing? It is a Sunday night, not Saturday. I know you guys sort of, well, whoever's watching expects us to do it on Saturday, but we're doing it on Sunday. If you read the title, we got a review and discussion for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And we're going to be talking about heavy spoilers, so watch out. This isn't a spoiler-free review. I should probably add that to the title. Bring back Saturday streams. Oh, we will. And feel free to hop on any of those links I linked in the chat for our Discord, YouTube, and merch. So support us any way you guys can. Doesn't matter. We love you guys just with us. Okay?
We appreciate it.
Yep. So I am Tristan. This is Gina, Jeans. And then we got Bobby, Michael, and Tony from 847 Club, baby.
Bring back nostalgia.
Just for reference and for your knowledge, 2 people here haven't seen the whole movie.
Heyo.
Okay.
Heyo.
Michael has not seen the new one, but he's here to give us his thoughts. And
Tony's only seen the worst part.
Tony has
I
seen
only
the
saw
first.
the boring part.
Tony has seen the first hour and a half of it. So.
See, Tristan's not gonna say that he disagrees with it. He disagrees with that.
We'll get into that. Honestly. But yeah, I got a lot of notes. Well, in my head.
Oh,
and
you
on
got
the paper.
notes.
In my head and the paper, just because
I covered the election. I didn't have notes.
Yeah. Who
I do
needs
have them on my
those?
phone.
Yeah,
Who
Gina
needs
just has them on her
structure?
phone. So let's talk
That's
about
just coming straight off the dome.
let's talk about some history before we actually get into the movie side of it. So, for the people not watching, or the people watching that aren't really familiar with this whole Snyder Cut issue, is that Zack Snyder in 2016, after the release of Batman vs Superman came out, started filming Justice League, and sadly, after filming a 4-hour, cut of the movie, before any editing was done, literally right after filming, his daughter tragically passed away, and he had to step away from the project. And this was kind of suicide for Warner Brothers, because their lead director pretty much filmed it all and isn't going to be there to edit it. So, and I'll go into what I'm mad about Warner Brothers for, or confused really on Warner Brothers later, but they decided to bring in Joss Whedon, the director of the Avengers movies, the first 2, to sort of course correct / edit the film, because what I understood and what everyone else understood was that their demands for it was that they want Joss Whedon to come in. They wanted to cut it from 4 hours to 2 hours, so literally in half. They want to make it lighter, and they want it. And they wanted to make they didn't really like where he was going with it, so they allowed him to do multiple reshoots, multiple script edits, and pretty much sort of change the movie. And I'm gonna tell you right now, watching the Snyder Cut, I'm confused on why they even needed to bring him in to reshoot, edit the script, when initially it's the same movie. Like, not beat for beat, but literally all of the story points are there, and I'm about to just get into spoilers right away. Boom. The movie starts off, Superman's dead. They introduce all the characters. Batman needs to get all the characters together. Steppenwolf comes down, takes all 3 of the boxes, wants to put them into one box to destroy the Earth. Superman comes back. They stop the bad. Yeah, they stop the bad guys. Like, literally, it's the same fucking movie, and that kind of maybe hurt my perception of Justice League a little bit, because when I heard that a whole 2.5 hours of content that has not been seen before is going to be in this movie, I was like, plus Darkseid's going to be in it. Maybe he's going to be, they're going to do the Steppenwolf shit in the first half of the movie, and then the second half is all the big meat and stuff that we haven't seen. But in reality, all of those scenes were literally cut from every single part of the movie. So what really the movie is about is the same movie, just more context, more time for the characters to breathe, and more just more story. You know what I'm saying? It didn't change the story really at all, but we'll get into that. And while we're here talking about the cut, what are your guys' general thoughts? I'm gonna start with Bobby.
You're the only other person who watched the whole movie.
And Gina. But we'll go to Gina.
Oh yeah,
right
besides Gina, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. It was such a long movie that. Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of your take, Bobby has not seen the first two movies before this. There were a couple movies before this, but really the main two are Superman's solo movie, Man of Steel, and Batman vs Superman. So this is going to be very interesting context of how this is a very interesting view from someone who is really just watching the movie for what it is without any context behind it. And I was kind of worried for you when you're going to watch this movie because I was like, you kind of need this, blah, 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 blah. But now watching the whole thing, I'm like, they spoon feed literally everything that you really need to know during this movie. So I was like, watching it, I was like, oh, Bobby can easily enjoy this. Like, he'll know what's going on. He knows who these characters are, not in depth like in the universe, but essentially these movies kind of stay true to what these characters are. So he knows them. I think he'll be fine watching the movie, like having watched it. So yeah, give your take on
it. Yeah. Well, as you said, like, it was a little difficult coming into it and not really knowing any character who wasn't Wonder Woman. Well, that was because previously in the DCU was the only character that I actually knew about at all, because I watched the original Wonder Woman, not even the second one. You know that was kind of difficult. But as I said to Tristan and the rest of the squad, my first MCU movie was Age of Ultron. So like, if I could watch that and enjoy the MCU, then Justice League, not even regular Justice League, the one that everyone's hyped for, like the Zack Snyder cut, if that's my first DCU movie, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be a big deal. And I would say to Tristan's point initially that, you know, the movie spoon feeds information to you. Like, absolutely, during the first like hour and a half, like, you really get a rundown generally of what each character's about, what their current struggles are, what's currently happening to them, like what are they dealing with. Like for instance, you get Wonder Woman. She talks to Batman directly a little bit about their previous relationship that they got through Batman and Superman, and not only that, but she alludes to her previous relationship with I forgot his name from Wonder Woman. Yeah. So you get parts of her backstory immediately. Batman, like, he's a man who doesn't need introduction anyway, but you like, there's so many scenes with him in the beginning that you get a feel for his Batman, so it's not a huge deal that I don't know much about that version of Batman, just because, you know, Batman's such a prolific character anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Especially since I'm going to tell you the previous movie, I like that version of Batman way more because I know Zack Snyder has taken account the Warner Brothers demands to make it a little lighter. So Batman was very hard and very gritty in the previous movie, and I'm going to say even Joss Whedon shitted on Batman, this character, in his cut, which is one of my complaints with it. And then Zack Snyder, he still made him a little bit more lighter and comedic and, you know, like a chill guy instead of like, you know, super calculated and this and that. But yeah, like you said, who needs to know, really? Like, Batman is going to be Batman, really, no matter what movie you're watching. So
and as I said to you about Batman specifically, Tristan, during like the couple messages that we exchanged while we were watching it, pretty much simultaneously, I think we're like maybe like 30 minutes apart. That's pretty much it. Was that like this Batman? Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's Batman is just, as my first introduction to him, was a really good older grizzled Batman. He's not the same Batman that you would watch in the Dark Knight series, which I haven't watched. He's not, and he's also not the Batman that you usually would get like in other video games and other like representations of him in like animation stuff. Usually he's a lot younger. Ben Affleck's represented to you as an older, seasoned Batman, and I really like that. I think because I don't have the context of Batman Superman, I don't know what to compare that version of Superman to, so I have no complaints because I don't know how Batman vs Superman was. I don't know that. As seeing Justice League for what it is, I think Batman was a really, really good character. I liked that version of Batman. Ben Affleck's Batman, as of now, again, I haven't watched The Dark Knight. That's really important to know. Is my favorite iteration of Batman I've ever seen on the screen. It really is. Which Gina probably doesn't agree with at all. and then it goes on for Aquaman. Like I didn't know really anything about Aquaman because I didn't see Aquaman.
It's okay. Actually, Aquaman, that movie, his solo movie, came after Justice League. So that's
your first introduction to Aquaman.
Yeah. So in this movie, you're first introduced to Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg. Really.
Right.
So
okay.
Aquaman gets his solo movie right after. I think Wonder Woman gets hers just before Justice League, which essentially
and she gets 1984 like right a little after.
Yeah.
Like a year after, didn't it come out?
Yeah, like it just came out this year, so that's like 4 years after, or last year, so it's like 4 years.
Time goes
after
by so fast.
Right. So yeah, there's that. Really, the only movies you needed to see were the Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, if anything. But like you said, it spoon fed you information, so that was good.
Right. Like Aquaman, it spoon fed you what his current thing is. His current edge, his current like situation with his family and his the Atlanteans,
right? And
he's very direct. He says it to Wonder Woman how he's feeling about the Atlanteans. He tells you what his character's going through,
right?
And then Flash and Cyborg, obviously, like that was so obvious to me. I didn't know about the Aquaman thing. That was his first introduction to DCU technically, but Flash and Cyborg, you could tell immediately that those are the first time those characters have been in the series,
right?
Because those introductions to them are so like it might as well have been the opening to their movies. Like that's how introductory it felt.
Like Flash's scene, his introduction scene is one of the scenes where I'm like, this belongs in another movie. It could easily be cut. It had no weight or anything to his character or the story. Literally could have cut that scene and would have been fine. Nonetheless, though, all the scenes that I think that they could have cut to make this such a better movie, like pacing wise, because it did not need to be 4 hours, to be honest. It could have been 3:20, 3:15, maybe 3:30 if you wanted to, like with credits and whatever. But it could have cut 40 minutes off, that scene being one of them. But nonetheless, all the scenes in this movie that could have been cut, to me, are very cool as a fan to see. It's nothing like where I'm just like, come on, man. Like, why am I watching this? Like, I was geeking out watching the scenes, but after the fact, after watching the whole thing, kind of looking at those scenes individually, you could pick them out and get rid of them to 100%. Make the story as a whole better. But nonetheless, I like the scenes.
Yeah. I guess that those are just my general thoughts. It's good. Like, looking at it from a completely separated perspective, it's a good movie. And thank God I didn't watch the original cut of the Justice League.
Right.
And Zack Snyder's cut is the first real. I mean, like I watched Wonder Woman again,
right?
But my first real look into the DCEU, I'm glad that was what it was. It's a pretty good movie.
And what I'm debating to myself is whether or not it is beneficial for you to have seen the original one to really appreciate the new one, or if it's better for you to have a clear slate and just look at his vision and judge it as it is, so you don't get it could be biased, could be not watching the original or whatever. So Michael, having only seen the original, what do you remember about it, and what do you like about it?
What do I remember from the original Justice League movie? I remember.
Besides your crushed soul after watching it.
I mean, yeah, but I remember some of the basically most of the major story beats of it. Maybe some of the more, I guess, like memorable scenes, but maybe that plays into a big part of it. A lot of the movie seems to me like forgettable because it's just kind of like it's like this experience is just kind of like, all right, we're going from point A to point B, and really, we're not going to tell you why we're doing it. We're just going to go through it. The Flash, they showed like a small, I remember they showed like, it's like, oh my God, there's this dude who shows up at this convenience store really fast. That's the Flash. All right, he's on our team now. Okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, Cyborg. He's Cyborg. He's here.
Right. It's literally, he's here. Like,
wait, so Michael, I want to hear your recollection of that, because Tristan was telling me that there really isn't much introductory to Cyborg. What exactly happened? Like, how did they introduce Cyborg in the original Justice League?
Okay. I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna be very honest, but I remember the scene. How it happens is that there's the mother boxes. Cyborg's like, I want the mother boxes back. They're important. They shouldn't be in the wrong hands. He's there now.
Wait, what?
Really? So it's literally just him being like, "Hey, I kind of align with what you guys are doing. So do you mind if I tag along?"
Right.
I think that's how it went. Tristan can.
Yeah,
He's probably
the
a
only
better source
scene
for it.
really like so
I
it,
I think they sort of allude to like how his like injury is or like how he's like cyborg, but that's it.
That's
know-
how you shoehorn a new player into a D&D
Right.
campaign, not a fucking movie.
do you guys
Yeah.
Bobby, Gina, Tony, do you remember the scene where Batman and Wonder Woman are in the Batcave and they're looking over people and they're like, we need this guy, I'll go get this guy, you can get this guy, right? And that's
Right.
like an hour and something in the movie. That
Right.
scene
Around
the
when it starts
Justice-
getting good.
Right. That scene in the Justice League was literally in the first 20 to 30 minutes because
Are you
obviously
serious?
it needs
Wow.
Even shorter. I
yeah.
think.
And
like,
yeah, you go on, Michael.
oh, I was just gonna say because I remember the scene with Aquaman or Jason Momoa.
Mhm.
They just I think it's like Wonder Woman goes to this fishing village and it's like he's there and he's drunk and he's like, all right, I'll come with you guys.
Wait, who went to the fishing village?
I think it was Wonder Woman, right?
Nah, it was Batman in both.
Was
Oh,
it
it was still
Batman?
Batman.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Okay.
damn, they really switched the whole character. Okay.
Okay.
Makes more sense.
Okay. If it was still Batman, then yeah. But I remember he's at the fishing village, and he's like, they don't really explain. He's like, he's Aquaman, and he's like, he could do water things. He's like, we need you, Aquaman. He's like, okay.
Yeah, like there's this, and just to let you guys know, if there are any scenes in the movie that you don't like in the like Snyder cut Justice League, just remember that those scenes are worse in the Justice League cut because he reshot
I like that.
most
That's
of the
funny.
scenes and added new dialogue, really dumb and corny jokes like he has this whole scene where like in the village and like literally the first 10 minutes of Snyder cut but in the other version where he's like, yeah, I hear you could talk to fish or whatever, and like just keeps fucking talking about him and his powers and kind of like disses him, and then is like, we need you, like come on, like come on guys, we're all friends, come on, let's be friends.
I think
You don't mean that. You're just
the way-
mad.
All right.
It's just okay. What I think about like the from now on, it's like Josh Whedon was like recut the whole movie, did everything like that. What I think about what he did to the first Justice League movie, I think he was like Warner Brothers was like, we want you to like make like our version of like like how you do the Avengers movies, how you do all these different things and stuff like that. And Josh Whedon was like, but this is the DCEU and I don't really care, so I'm just going to like put things that fit into the Avengers movies here, but they don't make sense. I'm just gonna do them because that's what I do.
They actually
guess.
wanted him to make it lighter, which is what I was confused about. I was like, even then, it's essentially the same movie, same tones. It's just, but Justice League was way over corny, like with some of the stuff. Like even with Flash, I have a list. Wait, you go, Michael, if you want to get into something.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I don't mean to
No,
cut
you're
you off. I think the only reason I could think about that is like they didn't want to fall into like the DCEU can be gritty sometimes, and that's
Right.
fine. But I think like from their experience with the previous movies, where they were like, all right, let's lean more into like the gritty aspects of
Right.
some things like that. They didn't really pan out, at least with all the audience. They were like,
Correct.
they were like,
They
that's
didn't make
not
any
really,
money.
yeah, they were like, that's like, you didn't really do much with it. It's like, we like Avengers movies. Those are lighter, but they can still touch on subjects. But
Right.
they probably only heard that they're lighter than the gritty stuff we have, and they're like, all right, we're just gonna do that then. Make it lighter, Josh Whedon.
Yeah. There's this whole. I'm glad they fixed Flash a little bit in Zack Snyder's Justice League because there was a couple scenes. One of the scenes that in Joss Whedon's Justice League was that literally their first the first time they meet Flash is he goes to the Batcave or the Flash's cave, essentially the same thing, and
Right.
he's recruiting him, and there's a bunch of these little things added where Flash is just speaking nonsense and it really doesn't mean anything to the story. And at one point he's like, yo, you want to join the team? And he's like, yes, because I need friends and people are kind of slow and like I don't get people sometimes. And yeah, he's like, I don't get people sometimes. Like, what is brunch? Like, and he goes on like a whole 30-second to a minute thing about why brunch is pointless and stuff like that. And I'm just like, and it wasn't even a good joke. I was like, come on, like,
Like, who the fuck even takes
Right.
a brunch, like who eats brunch?
There's
Like,
added scenes to make Flash a poor character, and then they cut the stuff like Flash saving all those people like in the air with the rocks and stuff when the rocks were falling, and Flash
wait, that
goes.
wasn't in the original cut.
No, they cut
That was
that,
one of the coolest Flash moments.
and they cut both moments where Flash goes back in time. Like that whole scene where Flash needs.
Second time in the new movie.
Yeah,
Crazy. I didn't get to that point.
yeah, he goes so fast in
That's
the
sick.
Speed
fucking
Force.
parts. Those are the coolest moments
I know
ever.
they really do Flash dirty, and like you know, now that we know kind of what the taste of the new old one was, Gino, what are your thoughts on the both of them, on the new one and the old one?
Yeah,
Okay.
fuck you, Tony.
Well, seeing the new one, the old one is trash, absolute garbage. Yeah, well, the new one, okay, so the new one is basically what you guys said. I like because, well, it's mostly because they didn't have like their own solo movies, but when like they just like pan it out, like each of them has their own separate like little intro, especially for Cyborg and Flash, because obviously we don't have those movies yet. So they kind of just like had their own little like movie, like little intro movies in the big movie. So I don't know. You guys just basically touched on everything I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
But no, it's okay. But like I didn't want to jump in because you guys kept going back and forth, so I didn't want to interrupt or anything. But overall, I think this movie was a lot better. I like just because the story made a lot more sense. Like how Michael said, like it wasn't like, hey, join this team, and you're like, all right, okay. It was like you join this team.
You are Bruce Wayne
because of this, and this, and it was just a lot smoother and a lot nicer. I also don't think it needed to be 4 hours, but like, what are you gonna do? But I did like that they split it up into those parts, so you could kind of just like stop and then come back to it, and you just like know what part you're on. I like that it like actually like cut the movie. It was like just go to black and then do the part, because then it wasn't like 4 hours straight, and then you're like, oh, I have to stop here, and then I have to remember where I stopped.
I was wondering about that. I was like, when they announced that they were gonna do like, wait, was Tony gonna say something?
No, you're good.
Oh.
I literally am just chilling. I'm just doing the thing.
Warner Brothers at one point was gonna make this into a 4-parter like episode, like so,
Just like Star Wars.
yeah, like the Mandalorian, which honestly that would have helped them a lot get new members in HBO, because they could, you know, watch it once a week, have people subscribed for like more than a whole month and
I
stuff
wouldn't
like
have
that.
watched if that were the case, to be honest.
Right, and I'm like,
Yeah.
one, I'm like, that's not what Zack Snyder wanted, and that'd kind of be bogus to like all the fans that are fucking waiting on this shit. So why not dump it and just release it all as a 4-hour movie, like how it was intended to watch?
Like how he wanted it.
Right. So glad that he fought for that and he got that back. And which I'm confused because the original Justice League is not on HBO Max, so that's kind of like a big fuck you to.
They knew.
They knew.
They knew.
They knew.
They were like, this shit's ass.
I don't know if that's
Fuck
on
it.
like another streaming
Forget
service right
about
now,
it.
and like they can't
Just
get it
garbage.
back right now. Like their contract is still with something else, but I just thought that was funny. I was like, really, the true version is on here, and yeah. So now, Tony, what are your thoughts on the first half?
The first hour and 15
Tony,
minutes.
Yeah,
Tony,
and
Tony,
you
no.
and you didn't watch you didn't watch the original.
I didn't
right?
watch the original Justice League.
You've
so
seen the previous movies though, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman.
I've seen a majority of Man of Steel, the important parts. And I saw Batman v Superman. So
Okay.
I watched that.
What are your thoughts
I've
on
watched
those
Batman
movies?
v Superman at least twice. I mean, Man of Steel was good. I thought previous to... yeah, shaking your head up there. It's good. I
Sorry.
mean, like,
Sorry.
Man of Steel to me was a good like Superman movie. It wasn't like holy shit. I didn't like it more than pretty much any Marvel movie, but it was a good movie.
Wow.
I fucked
Any
with-
Marvel
I fucked with-
movie? There's Thor 2, brother. I'm just
That's
kidding.
not
To be
fair.
fair,
I'm just
That's
kidding.
To
not
be
fair.
fair, I didn't watch Thor 2, so I forgot
Alright,
about
true,
it.
true. I don't know. Man
So-
of Steel is in my top
So
10.
all of the Marvel movies I've seen, I think you know, Man of Steel. It probably doesn't beat a lot of them, but it was still a good movie. Batman v Superman was Batman v Superman, but it definitely set up, you know,
Right.
it set this movie up a little bit. I really like watching the first hour and 15. It was a lot of me like it was less me being like, damn, this shit sucks, and me more being like, damn, I feel for Zack Snyder having to set all this shit up in the first hour and 30 minutes.
Right.
Like I was like, damn, they really made him set up like 6 superheroes in one movie.
Yeah.
And that shit, I don't know, it was like the worries that people had for like Infinity War, where they're like, damn, how are they gonna get all these people together? I was more concerned about that with Justice League when they first said Justice League was coming out. I was like, I don't give a fuck about Marvel. They're gonna be fine. They
each of
gave
their characters
individual
had
movies.
Yeah, they had their time.
Yeah, they gave individual movies to each of them. Like Aquaman should have fucking, they gave Wonder Woman beforehand. Batman should have probably gotten a solo movie before this.
Preach, brother.
Even though I think Batman v Superman did all right. But yeah, they just didn't. The only reason I didn't enjoy the beginning is because the first hour and 15 minutes is all plot. It's all like, here's everything that we need to set up. It's all exposition.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just felt for Zack more so than anything else, because I was like, this shit. Yeah, he had to do so much. The same reaction I had to after The Last Jedi came out and fucking what's-his-face, J.J. Abrams had to fix all the shit that got fucked up in that. It was the same feeling where I'm like, I just feel really bad that he had to try and do all of this in one movie.
Right.
Because I feel like that beginning would have been better. Like, I didn't blame him for doing any of that. I wasn't like, damn, this sucks because of the fact that he had to set this up. I just... Every movie has exposition. He just had to do so much of it that it made a third of the movie exposition.
It bogged down the experience.
Exactly. So that was really my thought on it, was just me being like, damn, sorry, Zack.
Right.
But, because it really did, like Bobby said, it bogged down the experience for me. It could have been, like you said, Tristan, earlier, it could have been 3 hours. Or 3 hours
Easily.
and 15 minutes. Easily. If they just dedicated more time to the heroes before releasing Justice League, instead of trying to beat Marvel and be like, get a group movie out real quick.
In which I know in the editing process, in his mind, in the back of his mind, he knew that he could have made this cleaner, but since fans have been begging for this for 4 years, I'm like,
yeah,
of course he's gonna put literally everything he filmed in this movie, regardless, because that's what the fans have been wanting to see. It'd be kind of cheap, if he put a 3-hour version when there's a whole hour left that people can't see still. And I'm just like, yeah, and his vision,
because as you said, the intention was his original plan. That was the intention of the movie.
Right. Which, thank God that Warner Brothers or HBO Max allowed this and funded this shit, because this 4-hour version would have never survived in a movie theater. It would have made no money. No. It would have made, because the longer the movie is, the less times the theater can screen it. So they're really only getting their money's worth for two or three showings, per theater, per screen, because it's just so long.
You show it 3 times and there goes half a day.
The whole day, because
the whole
day.
The whole time
the theater's open for so long.
Theaters open at 10 a.m. and they close at, we'll say, they get out at midnight.
Movie theaters up.
So 4 hours times, that's 12 hours. So that's the whole day.
That is a good point.
Even if you did a full day,
I didn't even consider that. Even if you did a full day, it's still, you can only show it 6 times. Yeah. Well, let's say a theater did 24-hour days, but it's still only 6
You
showings.
could still only show it 6 times a day.
Yeah.
Not even.
For 24 hours.
Not even, because they have to
extra.
clean and they have to do credits.
Right.
So 5 times. I'm like, Jesus.
Right. Tristan, that's actually, I didn't even think about that as a point.
So
how it would have reacted.
Thank God for
theaters.
streaming. I think this is kind of a blessing. I think Joss Whedon fucking up, him having to step away and Joss Whedon coming in and fucking it up, this is the only way we would have ever seen this type of movie with all the scenes in it. So it's kind of a blessing, silver lining right there. Despite on how good or not the movie is, I'm glad that me, along with other hardcore fans, can see it like this. So now that we got the general thoughts overview out of the way, let me talk about some things that I hated in the Joss version that was fixed in this version, and then some of the things that Bobby and Gina, if you think that you prefer the other version. Well, maybe not Bobby, but Gina. Think they prefer the other version,
I was like, I
as
don't
opposed to
fucking
the
know.
new version. In the Justice League one, what was annoying, and I'm glad they cut out, was that Joss filmed a couple scenes. I think you guys all saw the Avengers movies, so you'll know he likes to do this. There's this one Russian family in that base that Steppenwolf sets up that literally in like 5 parts of the movie, throughout the movie, sprinkled in are these little scenes of this Russian family dealing with Steppenwolf coming in, and and the next scene they show them, they're packing up, because like the first one they're watching the news, then they're packing up, and then the next one, Michael, you remember this stuff?
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Like,
Didn't they do that in Age of Ultron?
yeah, they did that in Age of Ultron and the first Avengers movie, where like people in New York,
There's a random person, right?
Right.
Like,
which Josh cut out some of that stuff in the Avengers movies, but from the trailers you could see all those scenes are there, and god damn, it's like pointless shit. And at the end of it, if you want to call this a cool scene, I thought it was a dumb scene. Literally at the end fight, all Flash does at the end fight, instead of saving the fucking and Joss Whedon, he saves one family. They get in the car and he pushes them away from the city. And in the Snack Snyder verse, he saves the world, like saving one
It
family
saves
in
the
one movie
world.
and saving
well,
one.
because you,
right.
I know you haven't finished it, Tony, and you haven't watched
Yeah.
shit, Michael. But like the enemies win at first in the new Justice League, and then he has to literally time travel to fix it for a second. Like that's like the whole. There's like an ending part to
And
that.
that part
That's
was
what
so
Flash
cool.
does.
Him running back, him having this talk to himself. I gotta break the
Right.
rule. I gotta do
And he
this.
restructures whatever what broke. It was like
Dude.
a reverse Thanos step. It was really
Yeah,
cool.
you saw everyone's like flesh and blood
Yeah.
come back together, like while going
Dude,
back to where he has
When
to
they
go.
did that
It
with
was so cool.
Cyborg, the CGI was incredible.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I was
Yeah.
Dude,
impressed.
you could see like his skull when it was like coming back. It was like, and then like it was just his eyeball, and it was like,
Yeah.
it was super cool.
So fucking cool. It was one
Pay
of my.
for the mic just for her to make noise.
Well, yeah. I was just like, yeah. If you want to talk, take it,
Oh, okay.
or just tap me and then I can move it. over
Get the
there.
hell out of the
Yeah,
way.
like.
Yeah, fucking
but,
give me that
uh,
microphone.
Don't be talking. Let me take the mic.
Right, and for anybody that's watching this, if you guys want to like ask questions or something on what we like or whatever, feel free to do that. I'll address.
Yeah,
Or
shoot
like
it in the
what
chat.
you thought.
Or what
I
you thought,
really
yeah.
liked the movie.
Put
It
your
was a very
takes.
good movie. I saw all of it.
You
And
guys,
send it in
you guys
chat.
want to talk about the Avengers, right? The first Avengers.
Right.
I like that one.
So, but yeah, that scene was in there. Glad he cut all that out because that was extra shit. Superman's mustache, like CGI. I'm gonna show this on stream if you guys want to watch the streamer. I don't know if the delay is bad, but
I'm looking.
I'm gonna put
I'm watching on here. I got it.
I'm gonna change the window capture real quick. This is crazy.
It's so bad.
This is literally all right. So the
Yeah.
start of the Snyderverse or Snyder Justice League was right picking up where they left off in Batman vs Superman, where Doomsday kills Superman, and which I thought this was very awesome and poetic. Like his voice travels to the mother boxes, like the mother boxes know Superman is dead, so they boom alert Darkseid, and this starts the whole chain. They didn't do that in the original one, so it's kind of like, damn, how the fuck they know Superman's dead? They literally just homeboys just roll up. But in the first,
Superman's dead. I'm coming in.
right? What do? When they start the movie off in the other one, none of that shit's there. It starts off with this really corny clip of Superman saving someone, like previously before Batman vs Superman, and these 2 little annoying kids are running up to him with a camera, and they're like, "Hey, talk to us for this podcast or whatever." And they ask him a bunch of stupid questions. And since this scene was like,
universe.
yeah, and since this scene was reshot, Henry Cavill had a mustache that he needed for another film, and that was under his contract. He couldn't shave it, so they filmed him with Superman with a mustache, and they CGI'd it out by like cutting out parts of his lip and like flipping it and putting it to his upper lip.
Oh,
This is
They did
just
what?
fucked up.
Oh.
Watch
They
this,
did it
everybody.
That's
So
disgusting.
dirty.
This is the scene. If you're gonna watch it on the stream.
I'm watching.
I'm looking.
Oh no.
I just gotta wait. My delay's horrible.
Oh Lord.
Yes, it does.
You're like,
Yes.
what the
it's
fuck? How do you make Henry Cavill look not
wine.
handsome?
Like
Right.
it comes and goes. My
You're saying this, like, they took
Oh my god.
parts of his lip and like just put it back onto the next part of his lip.
Yeah,
and
to
layered it
cover
like
the
that?
mustache.
So yeah, they layered it above it.
And that's
So
it for
that-
half the movie. Half the movie is like this because he reshot a lot of it.
That's disgusting. Oh, that's horrible, dude.
One side
my
of his like
God.
chin is like larger than the other. Like,
Right.
his butt chin. Like one
I've
side is
I've heard jokes about it. I never knew it was that bad. I've heard jokes about it. I didn't know it was that bad.
Got three. he's
Yeah,
got
man,
Three
it
nose
is.
holes. It looks like it's like middle.
That's
of the
Yeah.
ear.
terrible.
It's terrible. It's awful.
It's that's not even the worst of it. That's just the
yeah.
opening.
Yeah,
scene.
that's not all right. That's not all right.
It's not. Yeah. So that shit. Glad they took all the reshot scenes. They used the original footage that they used. So that is nice. Flash falling on Wonder Woman in the middle of battle and landing on her tits and like awkwardly gets up. Like they did that shit in Age of Ultron and they did it again in this movie. Like I don't know what
That's what we
Johnson-
did.
Yeah.
You horny
You-
son of a bitch.
Yeah. So they
We
cut
know he
that out.
wants. You know.
You see. Hold on.
I
Before you
don't-
move on from that specific point, I just gotta say that's so specifically offensive because Wonder Woman's supposed to break away from that
Right.
like kind of
That's like the whole
sexuality
point
thing.
of Wonder
Yeah.
Woman.
That is the whole point of it. That's like so it's like offensive almost like unintentionally. Like I get why you would do that. Joss Whedon would do that because horny like our age comic book nerds watching a movie. I get it, but that is so offensive because it's
just
Wonder
the
Woman.
concept of the character.
Yeah, because
Like,
it
it's
is
like-
Wonder Woman. Like that is the whole concept is that she doesn't. Okay, I'm sorry, Gina. I didn't mean to
How
interrupt you. Go ahead.
disrespectful for towards her. No, but like you're saying all this stuff, but like I don't remember like any of this happening because I only saw the first Justice League one time in the movie theater and that was it. So I don't know. I don't remember like any of this besides like the main parts that happened. But like all I just remember was just walking out of the theater and being just like, "Wow, that was absolute
Wow, that was
garbage.
fucking terrible."
Yeah, that was terrible." But yeah, I totally agree. Like, I don't know. But like, the fact that he just like copy and pasted stuff, like it's just like lazy, and it just that like annoys me really. That
Yeah,
annoys me a lot.
I mean, anytime you like when you reuse your own tropes over and over and over again, it's like, all right, dude. It's one thing to have like a style,
Right.
you know what I mean? Because
Right.
every director has a style, but when you use literal scenes, when you're like, all right,
Well,
they're gonna fall on this chick,
Right.
it's gonna be awkward. Same
Right.
shit we did in Ultron, baby. Let's
can,
run
I,
it.
can I defend Joss Whedon for a second? For
Go for
like
it.
for that specific sake, like for that specific point, like his tropes. And again, I haven't seen the original cut. All right, like before you're like, oh, that opinion's bad. I haven't seen the original cut. But like, I guess you got to take into account that with the Avengers at that point, they like every Avenger except for like Black Widow and Hawkeye, who no one give a fuck about to this day. Like they had their own solo movie, and so their characters were fleshed out. And at this point in the DCEU, only Wonder Woman had, I believe, as Wonder Woman and Superman were the only ones that had that. So it's like it's hard to default to other more meaningful like
Interactions.
interactions
that's
and
fair.
scenes because the characters haven't been developed yet, and
Right.
the footage that Joss Whedon was handed, as you said, Tristan, most of it wasn't his at that point. He didn't even film it, and
Right.
like that is again like obviously it's a detriment to the movie, but like I can see why Joss Whedon would have like a problem with rehashing old ideas because he didn't have
Yeah.
anything else to work with.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I wanted to also Tristan would be the one to know any of this. How long did Josh Whedon have like after being handed
That's a
it
good
be
point.
like how like
question.
we need to make the movie. How long did he have to like do all that?
No time. They did not push the release date at all. So like, I've seen a couple people online defend Joss Whedon,
That's tough.
which I'm like, they're defending Joss Whedon for this, for at least getting this film made, and I'm like, correct. If they didn't bring him in, well, first of all, they didn't even need to bring him in because the story's the fucking same. All they had to do was get a really good editor to cut it down to 2 hours and
Fair.
not change any of the scenes that Zack had already shot. Instead, they wasted money getting him in, reshooting scenes, re-adding really dumb dialogue that just didn't. If it landed, sure, yeah, the movie was good and stuff. But most of the shit that he added was really bad. Like, except for like one scene that I'll get into that I wish they kept in this version, in the next version, that was really awesome that I liked. But other than that, your question, Michael, they said here is a whole 4-hour cut of the film. You could reshoot scenes if you want. We're not going to move the release date. Thanks,
Thank you,
Celine.
Celine.
Just running up on that
Celine
Prime.
635 just
Hey, thanks
ran
for the
up
Prime
the
support.
Prime.
Thank you.
A movie you probably haven't watched.
Right. But thanks for watching. And they literally said, here, have all this, cut it, do whatever you need to, make it lighter, make it 2 hours, make sure you do this within a couple months. And like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, huh? Hey, I can't pronounce that. The hidden demon.
The Hidden Demon.
The hidden demon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
appreciate
brother. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
following.
No, sister. Thank you,
And
sister.
sister. Thank you.
And while you're watching, if you want to like tell us some of your ideas of what we're
Right,
saying,
for real.
and talking about,
Put your
yeah,
input
we
in.
welcome the feedback.
But yeah, good point, Michael. They literally said, "Fuck you, please do this for us." And I mean, to his defense, he did what he did.
Right.
Whether it made the film worse or better, which it made it worse. Props
Right.
to him for coming in and at least trying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
and you're right, Tristan. Like while I gave the defense of him, I also like it's still inexcusable to have all of what essentially what Zack Snyder had made and still create a bad movie. That's like shit on Joss Whedon's part and also shit on WB's part. I won't deny that. I
it's
just wanted to
it's
add that.
WB's fault. Like
Right.
down, like front and center, their problem, their fault, and I just think how they handled this whole thing was poorly. Thank God for HBO Max. So yeah, that was that. What
Right.
else were we
I don't
talking
want to take away
about?
from that.
Oh, Justice League, the original one. What I
Mhm.
didn't like about that one as well is Batman was a whiny bitch. Like most of the movie, the reshot scenes, like the scenes that are in Snyder Cut. Why do I keep wanting to say that? Zack Snyder's Justice League. Some scenes that were in there with Batman. He pretty much says the same stuff, but in a different way. Like it's not serious. It's not whatever. It's like, come on, guys. Like we need to do this. Whatever. Blah blah. Like
Guys, come on.
It's
We
like-
gotta help each
yeah,
other out.
she sounds like essentially like Derwin. Like, come on, guys, can't you guys do this one thing? Like, come on, like I want to get this heist done. You guys are really come on.
Come on, guys.
Come on, man.
Sorry, Derwin.
Again, without the context of watching the original Justice League,
Right.
it kind of sounds like they tried to Iron Man him, and they failed. That's what it sounds like.
Right.
Oh,
like,
so they
don't
tried to
Iron
make
Man the
they tried to
Batman.
make him more like Iron Man and make
Yeah.
Right.
comedic and
Like
sarcastic.
a quippy Batman, but
Oh,
instead
that
they made
doesn't
him sound
work.
like they made him sound like a bitch. I
And-
think
yeah,
that's what you're saying.
I'm gonna ask Michael too and Gina if they remember this scene, but there's a scene that was cut out of the Justice League where it's Wonder Woman and Batman one-on-one, like with the gang, but they're talking one-on-one with each other, and they're getting into this argument that's nowhere in the new one, where he's like, oh well, she's judging Batman on his decisions or something, and he's like, well, I'm doing what I can. You've hid for like 80 years because your boyfriend
Oh,
died.
I do remember
whatever,
that.
blah, blah.
What?
Yeah, and he
That's
like
bullshit.
yeah, he drops and
Yeah,
like puts her
I
in her
remember
place for some reason, and
Yeah, it's like Wonder Woman. I know I asked you to be part of my team,
Yeah.
but fuck you
Yeah,
for
it's
not
like-
right
yeah.
being out there.
he's like, I'm trying to fix this shit because you were never there and whatever, blah blah.
He's like, how
Your
dare you
boy.
grieve? How dare you grieve for
What
your
the
dead
hell?
boyfriend?
Wait,
No,
hold
no,
on.
but his thing was
Wasn't-
that it was 80 years.
That's
Like, get over
so
it.
significant to her character arc. So you're
Right.
saying that once again they disrespected Wonder Woman?
God damn.
And
What
they're
the
they're
fuck, Joss
disrespecting
Whedon?
Batman
What
for
the fuck?
even having him have to say that shit, which I'm
It's
like,
just in.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just in on the 847 Club. Josh Whedon hates women.
for real. Josh
The
Whedon is
Gotham
getting,
people are tired of women.
he's getting canceled right now, like for a bunch of shit that's like not
Dude.
really
God damn.
disclosed, but actors are like,
Uh,
you know, just beware about that guy. I'm just like, that's not good. But
Sucks.
yeah, that guy
never
had a
good.
Joss Whedon had a bad day. But
Josh Whedon had a bad day.
for real. And I think some other notes in here is like mainly those were like my main things that I didn't like about, but one scene that I did like about the original that wasn't in here is when they're underneath Gotham Harbor and the parademons have all these people trapped and stuff. It's the whole sequence where they're saving them. They go in to save
right.
him, and Flash pulls aside Batman. He's like, "Hey, like I have never done battle before. All I've really done was like push people and run away and stuff." So he's like,
Mhm.
I really don't know what to do. So and Batman like talks to him. He pulls him aside and he's like, just save one person. That's all you got to do. And he's like, what do you mean just save one person? He's like, just save one person. And essentially he's like, the rest will come to you and stuff. So then he does that. And then he just, he saves the one person and he's like, okay. And then he just goes and saves more and more and more. And I thought that was a really good scene, with Batman and Flash one-on-one that I think they should have kept. But I understand Joss Whedon or Zack not wanting to add any of that. But
Okay.
that was one scene that I like.
I do remember that scene, and I think of course, in the original Justice League movie, they did not give nearly enough time to any of the characters. So Flash, like we said, is just he's there now. But I did think that was a really good scene of okay, while he's not there, we still have the idea that he's not really a superhero, in that sense. He's just a guy who helps out people sometimes,
Mhm.
and that to find him more as getting into the groove of it, I guess, which is I think something that probably Josh Whedon's I've had plenty of time to do this, so I know how to do it correctly.
For real. Yeah, I really like that scene, and I mean I'm not bumming out that it's not in there. It's just because I've seen it before, so I could just pretend that it's there. So yeah, I really like that scene in that movie. But what are some of you guys' favorite scenes in general? Gina, you had any favorite scenes?
I can't say anything because I only watched
between
the
new one
bits.
and old one, I assume. Between the new one and the old one, and
But
I
he's
guess
seen.
I haven't seen the old one either.
Oh, but hey, let's talk
Funny.
about the scene that Tony did see. I think. Did you see the Themyscira fight on the Amazons?
Yeah, so when Steppenwolf first got there, and then they fought that.
Yeah, that scene was
everybody fucking fought that.
2 minutes in the original one. They did not have that whole battle on that field, and they did not have all those women in there fighting. Homeboy just literally came in there and took the shit. And
Damn.
God, I really love the Amazons and how they're depicted in this. When he's like,
They
I've
were
come to
fucking
bathe on your
badass.
fear. And they were all like, show him your fear. And
Show
they're like,
them your fear.
we have no fear.
We
And
have
I
no
was
fear.
that
I
was
was like,
fucking
fuck
awesome.
yes, get him.
That scene, I was just like, let's fucking go. And yeah, I'm gonna let y'all talk about this scene.
That whole
I
scene was
Go ahead.
women with the
Fuck you, Toad.
sparkles on the side. It's just women. That scene was just awesome. The part there's a shot where the queen's running out of the I don't know what you call it, a temple,
That
I
little
guess.
tunnel
like a temple.
Yeah.
A
thing.
temple. That's fair.
Yeah, when oh my god. When they're making the I don't even know what's the walls come down and they're swinging the hammers against the thing. There's a scene where the blonde girl does
they
it.
fucked up the
I
supports.
was like, wow. I was like, that was crazy. It was insane. It was such a good shot.
Right.
I was gonna talk.
Oh, go ahead. You
I
know
was
what? You're
gonna- I
about.
was gonna
Go
s-
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite part of that whole Themyscira battle scene was that when they're like, prepare the hammers, and then she's running out with the fucking mother box, and they're just bodying it, and then all of the fucking stone walls come down, and it ends
Oh,
up not
yeah.
fucking mattering anyway, because busts out of it. I'm like,
Dude,
I know,
and
I
that,
was
beca-
like,
that
man.
becomes even more poignant when I don't know if you remember this specifically, but I remember this because I thought it was such a good shot. It was such a good shot, like a camera shot. When as it's collapsing, it shows the inside again before it collapses, and they're still fighting in there. They're still alive in there.
yeah,
She has to make that decision to sacrifice the Amazonians that are inside the temple.
yeah.
And you can tell that it weighs
I
on
mean,
that was such a good cut. That was
The
good.
part that was cool about that was you could see that all of them were in it because one of them went down inside and they were like, "No, take the fucking box and go and do what you have to."
Right.
Like all of them were in it.
Yeah.
Dang the fuck.
They were not afraid to
effort.
kill them. They were not afraid
Yeah.
to kill the Amazonians.
They're like, "Let's do it. Fucking keep us in here. We're going with this."
Right.
It was fucking.
Thank you,
that is like
Reinforced
that is
Bear
like
Den. Thank
if Black Panther took, and I feel like that's the closest. Oddly enough, I believe that's the closest comparison you can draw between Wonder Woman and something from the MCU is Black Panther. I feel like oddly enough, those are the closest comparisons.
Well, I mean,
It's
they
like
both
if-
have that warrior mindset.
Well,
you know
they're
what I mean?
both warrior mindset. They're both part of a nation that other nations cannot see or be a part of. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
And it's like if you took the Wakandans and you killed them and you made T'Challa make that decision.
Yeah.
That was so rough, and like the Queen, I literally no. That is such a good scene. You're right, Tony. That is an incredible scene, And you're right.
And I think also it really highlights how fucking powerful Steppenwolf is, because he just gets bodied by arrows and he just like flexes and they all break, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, this dude doesn't give he's just getting shot and he's just like, fuck you gonna do? Doesn't matter.
Right. He does that cool thing with his
Flex.
armor where like literally he flexes his armor and like 10
And they
arrows
all
that are in
just
here
snap.
just are snapped.
I
thought
was
that was
like,
cool.
oh my god. I was like, this dude, it doesn't matter. I
Right.
was like, they're gonna get fucking
Yeah.
smoked.
Really throwaway scene in like the original cut. Like literally he just comes and takes each mother box, and there's really no motivation for him in the original except for that he wants to destroy the world. Darkseid is mentioned not once in this whole
That
thing.
was the other thing
So-
I liked.
So Steppenwolf
About
is
Steppenwolf.
actually fleshed out a little bit in the sense that he's doing this for his master. He wants to be seen again, sort of like a Loki.
Right.
Like he's trying to redeem himself, and really be included in his master's plans, because and he's thinking if he does this one thing that he'll accept him back. And so that was kind of not humanizing, but just you can understand more. It's not just a one note. It's like it's a two note. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like helps just a little bit. That scene was awesome. And the Hidden Demon says, I don't really know much about Marvel or DC. I just remember my brother watching something about Blue Beetle when we were younger. I don't know what series it was. It was probably that Batman series where it's literally Batman and Blue Beetle like the whole time. But yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that series.
I like that.
Blue Beetle's fucking sick.
He is awesome.
I want them to include Blue Beetle
Right.
eventually, but I'm afraid they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, he's in the animated movie that just came out recently, the Justice League versus Teen Titans, and he's on the Teen Titans. He's a good character in that one. Michael,
He's
you
a
saw
great
that?
character. And
Yeah.
he would be a good, like, at least in the comics and shit that I've seen, and in most media that Blue Beetle's included in. He's that quippy character,
Right.
which is what they need, is a quippy character, apparently, because they tried to do it.
Right.
So,
Like, I mean,
him,
okay.
Flash,
Again, this is
Green
a new
Arrow,
thing,
done
another thing I
right.
haven't watched. Is that like, do they need a quippy character, or do they feel like they need a quippy character because like the niche that's successful for that is MCU and they have just
Right.
quippy characters?
Well, Flash.
Do they
boom,
really
that's
need
your
it?
That's your quippy character. Like him, essentially in the comics and in the animated stuff, he is the
Right.
quippy character. He's fast with the jokes,
Right.
they did that, but very poorly in Justice League, and they fixed him in Zack Snyder's.
Right.
To me,
I mean, because he doesn't talk too much.
Yeah.
I guess. Like when he does have a quip, it's like Michael. When Michael has something to say, it's always really funny.
yeah,
So when
Right.
Flash had input, it was always something like funny or like interesting or just meaningful to the conversation. It was never like I don't want to hear from you right now. It was never like that.
yeah.
right. Yeah,
That's I always feel like in movies and group movies and everything like that, you need a comic relief character. Not
Yeah.
saying you need to overload it with a bunch of quick characters, but if you balance it out with the dark, gritty Batman, which we saw in Zack Snyder, and you bring in other darker characters, like I think John Constantine's DC, right?
John Constantine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's DC.
He is
He
DC?
has they have an animated movie about him.
Yeah, I thought so. So
yeah.
I mean, like
All right, Michael.
you bring in darker characters and stuff like that to balance out more of the quippy characters, like a Green Arrow, a comic, true Green Arrow, Flash, fucking Blue Beetle, shit like that. You just need the dynamics to be balanced, and I feel like I haven't seen it, but from everything that you guys have been talking about with the original release of Justice League, they tried to just make everyone like that. And
Even
especially
Aquaman.
Batman is not a character you do that shit
Right.
with. Batman's far too traumatized to be like happy and quippy.
For real.
So
Yeah. Everyone's arcs were just fleshed out, especially Cyborg. There was literally zero zap zoom on Cyborg in the original. His dad was barely in it. I'm very glad they included his dad more, and this is essentially like mostly Cyborg's show. He's the one that's saving people. He's the one that is has the biggest change from as a character. Batman is
Right.
Batman. Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman. Like they really don't show any growth by the end of it. Besides, I mean they're introducing Aquaman for his solo movie, and they're introducing Cyborg and Flash for theirs, while trying to really course correct, or like set up the Justice League. So he's juggling like all of these arcs, and I think he did a very good job. I think him having a whole movie to do all that, like a 4-hour movie, was good enough for all of that. Even though there were some scenes where, like, I'm gonna say that Flash scene where he's getting a job and it crashes into his future girlfriend, the car, not needed in the scene or in the movie whatsoever.
Great.
Like,
So
it was
good.
very cool watching it. I really liked the song playing while he was, like, moving stuff and saving her. Him
was
touching,
so gentle
yeah.
with her.
yeah, like that. He was gentle with her putting it down. But did you see where he was, like, touching this complete stranger's face, and like as an audience member, they're gonna fall in love. Like, that's his future girlfriend. But like in real life, he's touching a stranger, like when nobody can stop him and stuff like that. I'm just like,
I feel,
Like,
yeah. When I was watching it, I was like, I know
didn't think of it that way.
exactly.
I didn't think of it that way.
I thought of it that way. I was like, this is so weird. I'm like, why do you?
I thought of that after the
Oh,
fact.
God.
While watching the scene, I was like, that's very like touching. Like, I like that.
You think so?
I
Here's what-
definitely thought about that during the scene. The first time I saw that scene, I was like, I know who that is, but still, they literally just ran into each other.
No,
Right,
When,
and-
when,
Like,
I,
what
when, I,
the
when I
fuck?
saw that scene, and this is why I really liked it, and why I think it fit, like why it should have been in the movie. I thought it was a good contrast between because like at that point in the movie, we're getting hit over and over by Lois Lane's tragedy of missing like Superman and him being dead. We're getting hit over and over again by that, and then all of a sudden we get like new love, and not only is it like new love, it is a scene that I feel like captures that emotion very well. Like when you fall in love with somebody, I think that scene captures that feeling more than like most other superhero movies can have ever done.
Mhm.
Like that made me feel like, it made me convinced. I was like they're going to fall in love, and it fits. It works here. I don't know. I've never been so impressed with a movie by being able to pull at your heartstrings in such a way with two characters that you barely know. You
Mhm.
barely know these two. It's
That's
just like
fair.
they have such chemistry just by fucking looking at each other. That's ridiculous.
For real.
That
And
is fucking ridiculous.
And that has a lot to do with the music, which I do like some of the music choices in this movie, and some I'm like, could have been cut, just because there's a few instances in this movie where like the music playing is like a whole sequence, which I appreciate that in movies like The Watchmen. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, but Zack Snyder also did that one, and I just think it's fucking awesome. Like The Watchmen, and like in every way. A lot of people like to shit on that movie, but I guess I'm just like I like Zack Snyder's fan and style. So that's my thing. But what was I talking about? The Flash stuff? Or was that what I was talking about?
Yeah,
The
we-
music?
Yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
about the Flash stuff.
I thought it was a very good scene. I felt like that scene could have been a start in Flash's movie. Thank you, Bobby, for the 100
for the
bits.
bits.
Let's go. Teen Titans, go! That's funny. But yeah, that's one of those scenes where I'm like, good scene, could have been cut, not in this movie. Another one like that was, I think, the whole Wonder Woman fight in the beginning. Awesome, super cool, but Wonder Woman,
That they could have cut out.
they could have
that
cut
could-
that
they
whole
could've
thing
cut.
out and had her do
Yep.
something else, like maybe her in a museum, like more story about the gods and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
she does have that one scene where she does look into it and like literally just reads the stuff on the wall, and like it kind of gives her a history lesson. Which that whole history scene where Darkseid first comes to Earth was
Right.
awesome. And
But imagine if they had done that and Wonder Woman had talked about what the fuck she was doing, and then also like the context was given to you by Wonder Woman.
right,
But instead they chose to take Wonder Woman's time in that moment to do that action scene, which wasn't necessary at all.
Mhm. Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Oh, let me tell you something.
Talking about the action scene where the people are robbing the bank, or they're gonna
Yeah.
blow it up or whatever.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that. I mean, it was a badass scene watching her like block everything, but
It
I
was
like,
cool. Yeah.
it was unnecessary. I agree with you, but it was badass.
It was awesome. This really annoyed me just throughout the movie. I hate that every single time she did something, it had to have like that vocalization in the back. That like the first
Let's
couple
go!
of times,
I agree, Gina.
the
I
first
agree.
couple of times, like I was like, all right, but like it was every single time I was like, oh my god, I was like, again.
Tristan, I want to ask you, Tristan. Do you have a specific segment? Do you have like a time where we're gonna talk about the soundtrack and like the music?
that's next. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm not gonna talk.
Let's use this.
Okay.
Let's use
But
this
I
to
do
go
want to
into
talk
that.
about it. Okay.
Unless
okay,
anyone has anything
can
else to
Can I
say.
begin to? Okay.
You go. You're the
okay,
music
never
guy.
mind. Okay. Let me talk about how I thought this, like, the music and like the soundtrack and the way that the like the orchestra, the ornamentations and all that add into the music. It's like a cacophony. It's horrible. It's horrible. The only person whose theme sticks out at all is Wonder Woman, and it's way too fucking much. She can do absolutely nothing. And Gina, you're right. The fucking choir thing will happen.
For real.
I don't want to hear, like, it's like I
Every
get it,
time
like
they
that's
show
her
her.
thing.
Yeah.
Right, every time she does anything. And I remember the most jarring moment where that happened is one during like the final fighting scene versus what's his name? Axe guy.
I actually like that. Steppenwolf.
Darkseid or Steppenwolf?
Steppenwolf?
No, not Steppenwolf.
It's
Steppenwolf.
When he cuts their
I
head
think-
off.
But that was the most jarring. No, that was fine.
Oh, okay.
Before that, when she loses, when she ends up losing.
Oh, right.
Why would you play that? Why would you play the music that's like? Let me just. I hate to make this comparison.
Right.
It's the only valid comparison when I bring back to the MCU. The only comparison. Okay. Let's just like let's imagine. I think the person who has the most like solidified and constant theme is probably Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has it every time he does something insignificant in his movie. Let's imagine if when he gets killed by Dormammu over and over again, it plays that theme. What? Like, it's like she just got bodied by this fucking alien, and you're gonna play that theme. Now I don't associate it with victory. I just associate it with just Wonder Woman. That's not the point.
Fucking Jovi's in here. Come on, dude.
Jovi, we put spoilers.
God
No, we
damn.
want you the way that you are. It literally
Get
says
out.
spoiler talk in the fucking.
He's like, oh, I wanna hear them
Hey,
just
hey,
a little
hey,
bit.
hey.
God, but all right, I won't spoil. Jovi, tell me when you're leaving. Then I won't spoil anything.
Well, I'm gonna keep
the
spoiling.
risk.
I'm gonna
Oh
keep
my
spoiling things.
God.
All right.
So
He just said he knew the risk, so it's fine. Go
Wait,
ahead.
Bobby.
So
Let me ask you this.
I'm gonna keep on going about the music. All right. Like, I'm sorry that I'm like, if you guys have the butt in, but I'm gonna keep talking about the music because I
Right,
have a
hold-
lot of thoughts on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me tell
As
you
I was
about this
listening to
though.
Go ahead.
When you said that really Wonder Woman's theme was the only theme that was present or whatever, I think you would really appreciate because I know you like it when a character's theme would play in like a growth moment or anything like
It's a
that.
leitmotif. Yeah,
Right.
a leitmotif.
A
I like those.
leitmotif or whatever. And I don't know if you know Superman's theme because you didn't watch the first one, but it would play like when Superman
No,
the new
I do
flight
recognize
sequence.
that one.
That's my favorite score that like Hans Zimmerman almost has ever done. Like the whole. I don't want to like sing it on the thing because like I'll
They
chop
played
it. Up.
They played it during the cross moment.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
That whole thing was awesome. Like I love
Yeah,
when they
alright,
do
whatever.
that shit. But anyway,
Jovi put.
I'm walking in. Yeah, for real. But yeah, you go on about your music.
Okay. So now, again, I'm gonna make another reference to like, again, this is the only valid comparison because the MCU is the only thing that you compare to the ECU. It really is. I'm sorry that's the way it is. But what the MCU does correctly with music during combination movies is that it eliminates almost entirely the use of specific characters like leitmotifs. They don't use specific characters like leitmotifs. What they do instead is wait until they unify and then they give you the Avengers theme. The Avengers, the total. They're like I'll tell you right now, if there is a Justice League theme, I don't know what the fuck it is.
For
I
real.
don't know what it is.
For real.
And that is Tony's gone.
Oh,
and
He said his stuff went down, so he's coming back.
Oh, okay. Well, but like that is truly tragic. I think that is one of the best things. Oh god, I don't remember the composer for the Avengers. He's a famous composer. But one of the best things that he did for the Avengers was eliminate the use of the leitmotif and instead give you the Avengers theme, which is one of the best themes
It's
of
like
all time.
Alan
Because it only
Silvestri.
plays
Alan
when they win. Alan Silvestri. That sounds right.
Let me look.
Very famous composer. But it only plays when they win. And like the music for the heroes in the Justice League, they'll play whatever they're on screen. That doesn't make sense. That does not like it's just like the moment where Wonder Woman is looking through the archives or whatever, she goes into the tower, like the Temple of the Amazonians or whatever, and it just starts playing her music, but there's nothing significant happening. Like that
Visual
music
novels
doesn't.
don't even do that.
Yeah,
fine.
like even the most basic of like forms of media, like Michael. Sorry, but even those Like they won't use music. So I don't know. It's like if you took someone's theme and you slapped you in the face with it whenever they walk by, and it's like, remember that theme, right? It means them, and then like you're supposed to like that. I guess.
am back. Oh Jesus.
Well, you missed. All I said, Tony, essentially was that like it uses the light motifs too much, and Avengers did a good
I
job
was
of
listening.
eliminating
I still
it.
had it. I still
Oh,
had it
okay.
up. So
Gotcha.
listening to
Well, those are my thoughts on it. I think like its use of way too many characters, light motifs. Its use of like no, if there is again, if there's a unifying theme of the Justice League, I don't know what the fuck it is. The lack of a unifying theme, like that really fucks it over. The score, I really think, is awful. I think you could have taken somebody who didn't know a lot about music and probably made a better score. Like just by guessing what things should have sounded like. I think it was that bad. I honestly think that.
There was random shit, like stuff that, like you said, were like not motifs to anybody's themes at all that would just randomly play. Like when Flash, when Flash and Batman are talking in Flash's thing, and he's like talking about him to do like be in the on the team. There's like these heavy drums that are just like, and then he's like talking. Yeah, I really want you to be on this team, and like, you're on it, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, what is wrong
it ain't
with
that
this?
serious, Tristan.
I
You're
agree
not
with
gonna
that.
be punching shit.
You know what? Here's the thing. You know what really piss me off
What?
about that? Because that theme during that moment could have been the Justice League theme. It could have, and I only
Right.
know that because it played that when they left the truck to go into the sewer tunnels. They played the same drum beat, and then it
Yeah.
had music. It had the electric guitar over it.
Right.
And if they had repeated that, all they had to do was repeat that sometime.
I like that
And
guitar.
they didn't.
I like that
They
guitar
had the
thing.
guitar thing.
Because it
If
was
they
like,
had repeated that during the final fights, you could have just solidified that as a Justice League like theme, and they didn't do that. Instead, they gave us the Amazonian thing every fucking 5 minutes. Why? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
right. Do you guys
God.
Do you guys know the band The White Stripes?
Yes.
Do you know the song Icky Thump?
Yes.
I do not.
That was like the
I think not.
theme of Justice League and like all the trailers coming out when the original version came out, and I thought it was so fitting, like that guitar thing, and that was kind of reminiscent of that, like you said, when they drop down and underneath the harbor as soon as Batman drops, and like the rest of the team is like leaving out, they're doing that guitar solo on it, and I was like, yeah, I like that shit. Like they should have gave us a little bit more. And in Zack Snyder's movies, they're more soundtrack than score, like for the most part, and I like that about Watchmen. That was awesome. And when he
That
got
was awesome with
Hans
Watchmen.
Zimmer to do Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, there were awesome themes in that. Bobby, you
Yeah.
should watch those movies, if anything, for the music.
I've seen
Like,
Watchmen at least, but I haven't. Yeah, I
Right.
gotta watch Man of Steel.
Um,
I've heard only good things about the score. I agree.
yeah, the score is perfect, and like, but they were really missing that. I want to know if was Hans. I don't think Hans was doing the
It couldn't
score
have been. It could not have
in
been
this
Hans.
new one. Let me look that
Hans
up
is
real quick.
way too good for that to be true.
Right.
That's fair.
Zach. Anybody else can talk about anything else?
Let me tell you about this score, all right? Let me tell you about it. It's awful. But anyways, okay, the thing I did really, really like, so, when, obviously, spoiler, when Superman comes back, but he's, like, walking in the ship, and it's, what? What happened?
Danny Elfman.
Oh, really?
No.
Danny Elfman did the scoring for I think the Justice League version. Because
The Justice. I
the-
like that.
yeah, the Justice League, because I think it was mostly Junkie XL that like had like the original score.
Well,
It's
no,
not giving
no.
me the right
On-
information.
On the Zack Snyder cut, it is Tom Holkenberg. I don't.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to.
It was
interrupt
Tom
you. You didn't
Holkenberg.
go on.
I remember
didn't-
seeing that in the
Who hell is
credits.
that? I don't know who that is. Tom.
Not good, obviously.
Oh,
Oh, they did a horrible. Whoever that is, they did a bad
Yeah,
fucking
the
job.
dude- it's not good, obviously.
Oh,
Fuck that guy.
so when he's in the ship, it's like playing his theme and stuff as he's like walking through and looking all the
They're thirsting Tony in the chat.
I'm feeding into it.
But I love the part when he's like he puts the black suit on, just like 10 out of 10. But anyways, we won't get into that yet. But the fact that when he's about to fly again, it's the same theme from like the first movie Man of Steel, and I was like, this is top tier. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is it right here. There you go.
Yeah, I like
What?
that scene a lot as well. They use those scenes too. Something else that I want to point out while watching this movie, I know a lot of fans are like screaming for the black suit. Your pee small, Tony. That's
Yeah,
a-
and
okay. I was gonna say the black suit, right? Had no context to the story in this. At least to me. Do any of you guys know if the black suit is a reference to something? All I know is that in the comics, when he comes back as well, he has a black suit on, but like still no context to it. He really just did it
Oh.
just to do it.
He's
in
an
Superman?
evil.
I thought
I just
it's-
assumed it was an evolution of the character. That's all it was.
Well, I thought it was. Isn't that his dad's suit though?
The black suit, I thought.
It's like
Yeah.
except no.
Okay.
His dad has like a different symbol on it. It's not the S. It's like something else. It's like a J-ish thing. His was the S that he was gonna wear, but yeah. I mean, that's my knowledge on that. But yeah.
All right.
Any other-
Besides soundtrack. Wait, what's the next? Are we gonna talk about like what we don't like in general?
Yeah, any negatives like for this movie in general?
All right. Besides the Wonder Woman thing. Oh, hold on. Let me pull up my notes.
I
There's
have-
something I
I have an
don't like.
answer for that black suit. Apparently,
Go ahead, Tony.
lore wise, if you
Oh
want.
yeah. Ask. Do that first.
It says, I'm guessing this is what they did in this because they just brought him back to life. It says that the suit was designed to help a weakened Superman absorb more solar energy. As a result, the costume has been known to many as the recovery suit. So that's probably what it is. They just brought him back to life, so he needs that solar energy as like nutrients.
Why
So
did
they're like, here,
why did
take some
Superman
fucking black
wear
suit.
just like completely black clothes all the time? Why does he not just do that?
I don't know. Do you know how powerful he could be if he's just like, let's just slap fucking black clothes on him all the time? He's gonna absorb so much power. Like what?
Scientifically,
That's
awesome.
amazing. But yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, one thing I didn't like was I feel like there was a lot of slow motion in this movie, and I think it was too
Oh
much.
my god! Oh my.
It was like
fucking
every
God.
10 seconds. I was like, dude, all right. I was like, now, like, the slow motion is not effective because you're using it, like, so
Agree.
frequently.
Yeah, that's Zack Snyder style, and
I was about to
personally
say.
like that, but I can totally see a 4-hour movie, all this slow motion. I'm just like, so at some points I'm like, this shot's not even that epic. Like you're slow mowing like someone getting coffee or something like that, like something. Literally, a lot of this
Dude.
movie is epic, but I would agree that is excessive. Anybody else
Yeah,
feel
have
like
you guys
that?
ever seen? Have you guys ever seen like This is related. I'm not like
Right.
just bouncing to this like just as a joke. It's related. Like actually, have you guys ever seen like one of those like meme like Bollywood cuts?
Yes, me and Jovi has sent some of those in the chat where it's just like,
Right.
That's like,
And then like they do a
hey,
slow
Michael,
motion, like
do it with your camera, like.
Oh, do you want me to do it with my camera? I don't have it up right
All
now.
all right, never mind. I
There's
thought
but
you had it.
that's what I felt like it captured the feel of, and especially in the beginning fights with Wonder Woman and then the Queen, because of the way the film grain was, and then the way the what do you call it, the filters were on, and like things were yellow-ish. It made me feel like I was watching a Bollywood cut and not a professional movie. And I was
Right.
like, why is a slow motion? Oh, God, here we go.
They would have like hi hats and like drum like snares and stuff like when you're doing it.
like, and that's how I felt about. Pretty much every time Wonder Woman or any Amazonian was on, it was like slow motion, and then here's the theme. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. That it really was overwhelming. It really was overwhelming.
What else?
Yeah, any negatives at all, Bobby? Like just scenes in general that you felt. What was your favorite scene? Like, what was your favorite scene?
What else?
Yeah, any negatives at all, Bobby? Like just scenes in general that you felt. What was your favorite scene? Like just scenes in general that you felt were just not good, or like I know you and Matt specifically and Tony say that the first part was the worst. First part or two were like the worst parts, and like
Well, it's-
those were the parts
yeah.
where I was like, I mean, to me, when I was watching it, I really didn't have a problem with it, and I was rewatching it again, and I was like, I could see some things where they were really slow, like Batman, on the horse to the village for like a whole minute or two.
That was
like,
dumb. Oh,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, I mean, like they had to show all the credits, like somehow I get that, but were there any other scenes where you felt like it was just you didn't like or was really slow? I know you said something about Cyborg's dad, but to me, I thought those scenes were like pivotal. But what do you think about those?
Yeah, I guess. The one scene that I thought you could completely cut from the whole movie and nothing at all was changed about it. Well, I guess there's two. Because we already talked about the one woman like beginning things. Yeah, heist. You could get rid of that.
Right.
That could be gone. But the one time where like Cyborg's dad comes out of the building and like he like says bye to the janitor or whatever. The janitor puts his like that's a cool cut, honestly. But he puts down the broom and he starts mopping. And then inside the machine room, there's a noise. He goes after it, and there's a parademon.
Parademons.
Yeah, there's a parademon, and I felt like that went on for too long. Like one, you could have cut it. It could have been gone. But the fact that it was there and it went on way too long, something about that specific scene really bothered me.
It was
If
really
he-
cut weird too. Like that could have been a good
Yeah.
horror moment, like him going in
Right.
and then like, you know, no music and like literally he like, you know, turns the desk and then the parademons just like shows up and takes him. But no, it's
Right.
like literally the score is like building up and like you know that you could hear it like it was really no like suspense reveal at all. Like I
Right.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, they
Right.
tried to make it a suspense reveal when it's like, I know it's a parademon. I know this dude's about to die.
Right, and then they're like, oh, here's like somebody stole all these people. Here's a picture of what looks like Batman. Obviously, that's not Batman. We all know what's gonna
Right.
happen. Come on.
Right. And I like
Right.
Jim Gordon in this movie. He's just like, yeah, I know what it looks like. I'll talk to him. Like
Yeah, exactly. I was like, see, like Gordon obviously understands. He's like, yeah, Batman wouldn't do that. Why would he go to a different fucking area and steal 8 people without like any reason? Like that doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
But then you could
Right.
kind of see it on his face in the back of the mind, like, maybe he would do that. Like, man's fucking crazy. But like, he's like, I'll talk to him.
Especially
Batman's
this
fucking
Batman.
unhinged, so maybe.
Right.
But what were you gonna say before I interrupted you again, Tony? Sorry.
I don't even remember.
wow.
I was gonna say, with that scene, I did think it was kind of necessary to have it in there because it led into them talking about how, they stole the fucking mother box and shit. I get it. Even though we know it's not Batman, we know who stole it. Like, I get it. But for the people who don't really know who the parademons are, I would understand having that. But I agree with you, Bobby, that it definitely did go on too long. They should have just cropped it, just had the motherfucker die, and then, like, cool, we know the parademon stole the thing from the box, and we obviously know it's not Batman.
Right.
Just shorten it a little bit.
It's
Condense that
it's
scene
especially
down a little.
upsetting because Tristan had a really good point and idea. If they had just made it like a scary moment or just something more interesting than just, oh, he ran into a parademon. Like if it
Yeah.
was more than that, if it was like a horror, like a random horror element in there, that would have been cooler and like
Yeah.
relevant. It would have
Right.
made
Right.
the parademons seem scarier because they never really were. It was always the only issue
It was
really
like the
ended up being
bug dude. Basically a
Yeah.
bug dude.
the
Yeah.
bug dude, and the only really real issue was what's his name. That was the only really big threat. Like I don't know, Yeah.
Steppenwolf and then
Steppenwolf.
Darkseid eventually.
And then
but
Darkseid.
mainly Steppenwolf,
but
'cause
he,
was
I mean,
right
they
fucking
never
here.
fought Darkseid. But Steppenwolf
Oh,
was
that's
always like
painful.
they
Okay.
would always just body the parademons and then fight Steppenwolf and lose. That was pretty much the whole movie. But like if they had presented the parademons in that moment as a scary thing, that might have made them better. I think that's what's upsetting about Tristan's point.
You
because that
saying
would've been so much
something?
better.
You saying something reminded me. So that was one parademon scene that wasn't in the original, but what was in the original that wasn't in this one, that was a Joss scene, was like some random thug in Gotham City is on a rooftop, and Batman, like he just robbed something, and so Batman literally ties him up, like pounds on him. The fight scenes are not good. Like this was a really bad Batman scene. Like he takes the criminal, sets him up over a building, like hangs him over a building as bait, and like the guy doesn't know what he's doing, and he's like, just watch or whatever. And then like the parademon comes, and then he like takes the bad guy away and like tries to fight the parademon, but then it explodes. And when the parademon explodes, its blood splatters like green goo on the wall, and like it paints a picture of the mother boxes. And boom, that's how mother boxes are in this story. Like
Wow.
literally,
That's
no mother
kinda
box
dumb.
exposition scene in the Snyder cut, like how it was in Cyborg's house. Then there was the Atlantis, and there was the like Superman's voice reaches the Amazonians. Like all that was cut out, and they put that dumb, really cheesy Batman scene in there. And that was just another thing I remembered. Another thing I remember that they did in the other one, but I prefer they did this in the original, and I wish that they did that in the new one, but I could see how they couldn't, was that Lois Lane has not been working and has been visiting Superman's like memorial site every day with this cop and gives him coffee and stuff, and she she goes there, and she ends up just being there during the fight with Superman.
That was dumb.
And
yeah, you're right.
but in the original one, they're getting their ass handed to by Superman, and literally Superman's about to kill everybody, and he's like, Alfred, bring in the big guns or whatever, and like they're stalling Superman for a little bit, and the big guns that Alfred sends or drives to them is Lois to calm him down, and I thought that was way better handled than her just being there,
Right.
to see him.
I could see that.
You know,
And
when we
Alfred pulled out
originally
his handgun and then shot it.
Yeah.
Alfred just took that like
Alfred, he's like
serum
the
and
big
then
guns.
just bulked up and beat the fuck out of Superman.
Right, like
here's your cyanide, Master
in,
Wayne.
in Justice style. Cyanide.
Tristan, when I originally watched it, I remember arguing with you a little bit that like, oh no, the Lois Lane just being there was kind of good. No, in hindsight, I agree with your point. I think Lois Lane just being around was totally shitty.
Right.
I agree with
And
that.
I see how they couldn't really get away from that if they were setting up Lois's grieving moments throughout the film.
Right.
And I was like, that's just one of the things that she does, and I could see why cutting all that down for time and then Joss coming up with that idea. I thought that was a good idea, like for him to do, like to,
Right, because in actuality, if they had still kept all those grieving moments, which I thought were incredible, I told you,
right.
exactly. Like I thought, like I haven't seen Man of Steel. I
Mhm.
don't know Lois Lane and Superman's like relationship a lot at all, but I cried actually at one of the scenes where Lois Lane and like the mom are talking about
Yeah.
like how they feel about the death of Superman. I cried. I thought it was like it was one horrific, two like something that like it was so real and it humanized Superman. Like it wasn't like because she was like, you don't just know him as like the cape and all that. Like you understand like how I feel. Like we're crying and we're sad because he was like a guy, and it's upsetting that we lost him. I thought that was incredible. One of the only good humanizations of Superman. And I feel like that would have been like gotten rid of if Lois Lane had already known that Superman was coming back to life and she had to be around for that. That would have ruined her
Right.
character development. So I guess it's rough because on one hand you get a better planned Batman moment, on the other hand you get a way better Lois Lane development, which
Right.
she's not even a main character. It's like you really got to juggle these. I guess.
Like you said, it's a good Batman moment, and Batman to me is a man of contingency plans. And you
Right.
see that in the previous movie, but in this, it was like it really added to the fact that Batman's got a plan, he's got a backup, like he's calculated. In the
Right.
Justice League movie, the new one, he doesn't really seem all that calculated as a part
Right.
to the Justice League. So that's one thing about Batman's character that I'll say was a good thing in the original version. So
And what's his
you know.
name even directly references like notices it. What's his name? Fuck
Alfred?
the butler. Alfred.
Bro,
yeah, right.
why is Alfred hot in this universe? Like
Yeah,
Alfred?
I don't know. He is super attractive.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons,
but
man.
but Alfred like directly is like, this isn't nearly as like critical and logical of you.
Right.
And he says like, Alfred, have faith. And like that is such a weird Batman moment that I
Yep.
was like I like this as like a Bruce Wayne moment
Right.
if it was followed up with like, oh, Batman actually had a plan. He actually had a plan. Like
Right.
he was just fucking with like Alfred. That would have
Yeah.
been cool. But it was literally just him having faith. Because if
No.
Lois Lane didn't happen to be there, they would have fucking died.
Right. That
Like-
plays into his faith thing as a Bruce Wayne thing. But I like what you're saying. If he added the faith thing, but then was like, fucking with Alfred, like, bullshit faith. I got plans for this shit.
Right.
That would have been cool on Batman's character. But
Right.
The fact
like,
that-
have faith in me. like
Right.
in my fucking
Hey,
Yeah.
my fucking
I-
brain
that
Right.
would
That
have been
myself.
Batman-y, but instead it
Watch
was like,
this
oh,
200
Lois
IQ
Lane
play,
happens
Alfred.
to be 2 blocks away. It's all right. We're fine.
Yeah.
Alfred, you're merely playing checkers. I've been playing chess this whole
The whole
time.
time.
3D
Not just
Batman.
chess, 4D chess, baby.
Right.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
I agree, like, and then this is me refuting what I originally argued with you, Tristan. I agree that like Lois Lane just being there was stupid, and they could have done more with that.
Right.
That's
That-
essentially what I'm saying.
That was the thing that it was off in the new version. Like I'm saying, y'all thought that I was coming in here just gonna be praising this movie. I got some issues. I got some issues. That was one of them. Another one was, I think we like talked about most of them. The music, the jarring editing, the scenes that didn't need to be there, but we understand why they were there because it's Zack. Do you remember me saying any other negatives?
No, but I got one.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Why the hell is Amber Heard
Nah,
in
but
this
give
movie?
me that fucking. Oh.
Why is she in this movie? No, I know it's because it was filmed in 2016, so like, whatever. But
Yeah, you can't cut her out.
dude, all right.
now.
even though she's a terrible person and I hate her and whatever, she had a really cool ass move when she was fighting Steppenwolf. She took all the water out, but then she started
was
like
cool.
sucking the water like out of his body, and I was like, whoa!
That was fucking sick.
Yeah, his face. Yeah, I was like, whoa! That was sick. And then she got her ass beat, so I mean, whatever.
Can I speak on that blood for a second? They made this rated R when it didn't really need to be, but I'm glad. Like, I think like there was only 2 F-bombs in the movie, and there was blood splatter, like casual blood splatter, nothing like chopped someone's head off and blood is like gushing out and some people are covered in blood. Nothing like that. I'm just like, I don't have an issue with it as much as other people that I know have an issue with stuff being R, stuff being PG-13. I don't care. Like, I'm a guy that, if it's R, you know, I like seeing that kind of stuff. It doesn't need to be there, obviously. I understand that. I'm not like a rated R tool or, you know, or whatever.
But like, it doesn't have to be rated R for you to like it. I see what
Right.
you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I'm not biased either way, but I'm just saying, like, I just noticed it really didn't need to be rated R. And Joss Whedon's movie, forget about what I said about that. Just Zack Snyder's movie in general, like, compared to other PG-13 movies, are not bad. Like, there's worse PG-13 movies than whatever they showed in this movie. But
Yeah, I didn't think there. Yeah, I agree with you. There wasn't anything that was like, oh, this is rated R.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really get why it got that rated R.
The most blood I remember seeing, and to be fair, it's not the first hour, but the most blood I remember seeing is in the flashback when they're talking about how all of Earth came together to fight them in the first time, and Darkseid gets fucking chopped in the shoulder, and all the blood comes out. That was probably the most bloody that I saw it, and even then, it's not that much.
Right.
Well, you haven't seen the ending, and again,
That's
is it
what
okay
I'm
if I talk about
saying,
this?
is like-
Is it okay if I talk about this real quick?
yeah.
Go for it.
I'm pretty sure the R rating pretty much just was made to like lend the ending its way. Because what happens? I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry, Michael. And whoever else watching doesn't want this spoiled. Okay, like just mute me, all right? Like what happens is that like what's his name again?
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. I always forget his name. Steppenwolf gets his head chopped off, and then Darkseid crushes it with his foot. Really, it's a cool moment. But I feel like the R-rated thing was only made for that, and like the rest of the movie did not need an R-rated. And I would have rather like that had been gotten rid of than the movie to be a like R-rated like light, I guess. Yeah.
R-rated,
What
but
is
like
going on in
Yeah.
this chat over here?
For
no
real,
fucking
so-
idea, bro.
Tony was getting thirsted, and now he's defending his honor. Like, there's a whole arc in this chat. But yeah,
Not defending my honor.
like I said, didn't have to be, but I just noticed that was really cool. That we got to hear Batman say the F word in a very cool context too. I would say that ending scene was one of my favorites. I know, Bobby, you didn't see the other one, but in Batman vs Superman, there's a nightmare sequence like that as well that I really like. Like, I feel like this is gonna be a theme. Like every movie that he's doing, they're gonna allude to something. Like they're gonna. Michael, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're pretty much doing the Injustice. Like I know you said in the chat, they were gonna do Injustice. So that was really cool to see. Jared Leto
I
come
need it.
back was awesome. Tony, did you say you muted yourself?
Huh?
What did you just say?
No, I said we need it
Oh,
for the
we need
Injustice
it.
movie thing.
I think it's just his noise suppression, like getting rid of some of his words. I think
Yeah,
that's all
I
it is.
wish.
Yeah. I'm not
I w-
close to the mic right now, so
Honestly, back to like a prediction or whatever. I don't think we're gonna see a Justice League 2 or
Oh,
3, but I really hope that. I mean, this is gonna be shitty on the for the company to really have to do a triple take on their whole plan, but I really think the Snyderverse should come back. I enjoy these movies, so me selfishly saying I really want these. Whatever. I get it that these movies are not popular to the mass audience, but I would really like to see these movies.
But no. I mean, you say that, and I'm defending you now, Tristan. I'm defending you. I think you're right. Like, it's very
Clip this,
clear.
This is rare.
It's very rare that I agree with Tristan completely. But like, it's very clear that the fans really wanted like the Zack Snyder like version of this movie, but it's also very clear that like that movie was clearly like from what I've been hearing, like
Mhm.
from what you guys have been talking about, it's very clear that movie, like the movie we got right now, is so much superior than the movie that we got 4 years ago.
Right.
And like it honestly, like what it sounds to me, how I'm receiving this, it's that sounds really sad. That like people who like DC like got this, like they finally got the DCEU that they wanted, because like MCU had been working and they got that in motion. They finally got the DCU they wanted, and it wasn't what they expected. It was rushed. It was like they got all these things at once, and it just was not what they wanted. And they got rid of it and gave you the Joss Whedon cut, and that sounds super upsetting. I after all these years of not watching the DCEU stuff, I get it now, because the Zack Snyder cut, what was like, if I were to rank it between like all like if I put all of the combination superhero movies that I've watched, all the Avengers versus that,
Right.
I would put it high. I would put it like up near the top of the list. Like it was a very good combination superhero movie, better than a lot of the Avengers movies.
Mhm.
But instead you guys got what seems to be like a piece of shit movie because WB didn't handle it. That sucks. Like, I see what you're saying, man.
Terrible
Like, I know
of
you
the company.
you say that that's selfish, but like I see what you're saying.
Right.
I really get it.
And like, I'll let you if you wanted to talk.
No, yeah, no, I'm done.
I just have a question, but you could say what you say first.
As a fan, as a comic book fan, it was just very heartbreaking to see the rollout of these Zack Snyder movies come out ever since Man of Steel came out, and just seeing the hypocritical hate. And like, I'm one that doesn't really want to give, and I do this all the time, but what I don't like that I do is that, and I should stop doing, and I want to not do, is give people an excuse to why they don't like or appreciate something that I like, and saying, oh, well, you don't like this because of this, or like, yeah, you just don't like, you like this because of that. And I'm just saying, like, I don't want to do that, but I kind of feel people were being hypocritical when it comes to the DC universe as it's starting, because the things that they would complain about, like them not being true to their characters, which was, I think, BS to me. Man of Steel is like a top 10 comic book movie of all time in my eyes, and did Superman wonders, because I think he would have just been a boring character in a boring movie if they did the same shit that they did in the 70s and 80s with the fucking
If they made him
stuff.
literally God and it was just kryptonite and that was it.
And not even that, just like corny. Like if they made him like looking at the camera, flying in the sky, just saving people out of trees and stuff like that, and it wasn't like apocalyptic like how the first movie Man of Steel is, and didn't have all that destruction and what he's dealing with. I think all of that stuff was awesome, and people shitted on that for for some reason. I will never understand it, but I'm not going to make excuses for them doing it. I'm just calling them out on their hypocrisy, saying how they're not adapting it like how they want, or how it was originally, when the Avengers movies, Tony and Cap, yeah, like a lot of them are main true to their character, but the arcs and stuff, and the MCU is taking like almost their whole different path. They're not doing like the comics and stuff. They're taking the characters that people know and they're doing it differently, and they're doing the same thing in the DC. they're taking these characters, putting what's true to them, and they're adding themes that are relevant in today's culture, and people that are, I think mostly the old heads are coming in, and it's the old heads and the new heads. The new heads' problem with it, I think, is that they're growing up with this Marvel lighthearted stuff, and if the DC wants to go a little bit more mature, they're not open to that. And the same thing with the old heads. They saw the previous DC stuff, very light, nice-hearted, lighthearted fun, like Tim Burton and the other Superman movies, and they're just not being open to it, at least to me. So me seeing that this whole universe is being shut down, even though I think it was playing out perfectly for the most part, I don't know, it was just a little heartbreaking. But thank God that we got this. I can imagine a lot more now that we have this cut of Justice League, which I think is, I think if I don't like number ratings, but if I'm given a number rating, I would say 8 out of 10, like 8.5.
Same.
Well, which even I was close to giving it. But go ahead, Gina. You were gonna say.
I have a question. So, is this Snyder cut? Is that like the timeline now, or like what's happening with that?
That's a really good question. I was gonna ask that earlier. That's a really good question.
So Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder have both come out and said that this movie, they called it a cul-de-sac, like a road that doesn't lead anywhere. This is him getting what he not deserves, but I think he deserves it. Him getting to carry out his vision that he's been setting up since 2013, and mainly the fans spoke this shit into existence. Like, it was insane. Literally everyone on the internet who knows anything about movies or knows anything about film production and stuff would say this will never happen, not in a million years. But thank God that streaming services are here now and they can do this shit. Like, not everything is like, in the hands of theaters and how they do their business model. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, Zack Snyder has said this is a one-time thing for him.
Sucks.
He didn't say that he doesn't want to do the stuff. Of course I think he would want to do the Justice League stuff, but he knows that Warner Brothers has been trying to get rid of him and his whole arc for a long time, and has basically just been playing nice, saying, there's nothing in my future for these movies at the moment. Like, he always says stuff like that. He's leaving it open. But Warner Brothers is coming out and saying, like, this is a one-time thing. We got our plan. And Zack is, happy where he is. And Zack says he's happy where he is. He's got a Netflix deal. He's got a new zombies movie coming out. And with his art style and direction, I think it's going to be fucking awesome.
That sounds sick.
So
Zack Snyder and zombies together is like...
And it's done, too. Like, it's coming out soon, like within the next 2 months or something.
Jesus will be in it. I guarantee it.
Jesus will be in it. If we know anything, Jesus will save everybody.
A zombie will come back from the grave and do like a crossbows.
Right.
That'll be
But yeah, I said, and many people said, a Zack Snyder Justice League version is impossible. Like, what the hell? And then people spoke it into existence. We'll see if this will be any different. But the problem is that these movies do not do not cover the costs financially to make these movies.
Right.
And the critics don't like them. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, critically acclaimed is not something that you can put any of these movies in that category. So they got those two bad things going for them, for both of them. And despite this being Zack Snyder's most critically acclaimed movie, highest rated on all of the movie rating scores and stuff, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't say for sure, but we're living in a universe where Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro in the new Spider-Man movie, and Michael Keaton is back as Batman, and Ben Affleck is back as Batman for at least one film. Hope he does more.
Okay.
Yeah, the new Flash movie. I would say if you were gonna ask something about Ben Affleck doing more stuff, the Flash movie that's being made right now has got Michael Keaton as Batman again. They're gonna do like a multiverse thing. So Batman is coming back, and then Ben Affleck is also coming back as Batman for that movie. And I think that it's going to be a team-up movie-ish, or maybe he has like a small role in it. That I don't know, but I'm excited for him to be back as Batman. My favorite Batman, I think. But in general, what was your question, Bobby? If you were gonna say something.
It was kind of unrelated, so you can keep going. All right.
Did you have a question as well?
Oh, is it still Ezra Miller for Flash?
Yeah, Ezra Miller's still gonna be Flash. This movie should have come out 2 years
He's
ago.
a good Flash. He's a good Flash.
But
like
because
him
of
a
all the
lot.
production shit that's been going on, they've had like 5 different directors come into the project and then leave the project due to creative differences and shit like that. One of them was
I mean,
Ezra's fault.
when you do multiverse stuff, it's like I
Right.
get it.
One of them was Ezra Miller's fault because he was like, you know what? I want to write the script for this. So he wrote his own script for it, and then the director that they had walked out, and they were like, okay, sit down. We're going to let the director come in and like do their stuff with the movie. So he was whiny about that, and that kind of got rid of a good director in the spot.
Who was the
But-
director at the time?
I can't remember. There was like 5 of them, but I know this one I was excited for. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think anyone that you would know. But
Right, okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
so if that's what you were wondering. But yeah, Flash is coming up. The Rock is Black Adam. He should be showing up.
Oh, that's right.
I think they're gonna do. I don't
That
know
could
if
be
they're gonna
campy.
do
That could be really
Shazam
campy.
2. I like the first Shazam. Hope they do a Shazam 2.
I need to watch
Um,
Shazam. I heard.
I
it was pretty
love
funny.
Shazam.
Shazam was
Oh my
good.
god, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. I love Shazam. That was a
Well, is
really good movie.
Shazam DCEU or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they talk about Shazam takes place after Justice League, so that'd be perfect to watch.
So
right after.
they reference Justice.
Yeah, like once or twice. Like
Yeah.
it's not pivotal. Like I said, they're going away from the Zack Snyder stuff. So literally every solo movie after the Justice League stuff has really said zip zap nothing about anything that happened in Justice League. Like they really focus their on the characters. Like Aquaman, if you watch Aquaman, I really like Aquaman. They mention it once, but the whole movie is different consequences. Nothing to do with Justice League. It's like his own thing. Same with Wonder Woman and same with Shazam. So I think they're really
Well,
going into that.
I guess my thoughts on it are like if because what you're basically saying is they're not going to continue the continuity from Zack Snyder. I get it.
Right.
I understand that point, but they
I think it's a
have to
mistake.
do. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think I agree. I think it's a mistake. Again, it's the only Justice League I've even fucking watched.
Right.
But like, what are they gonna do with the ideas that came from that? Like is Cyborg gonna like now detract from his like character progression? Like, is that what's gonna happen?
They're not going to do
like,
any Cyborg stuff. The actor for Cyborg has
He's
said,
probably pissed off.
he stated he will not be in any DC movies if Walter Hamada, the current CEO of Warner Brothers, is in the spot, and he just signed a new year contract. So, literally a month ago. So.
Fuck, so they
He
really
really painted
burned that
himself in the
bridge.
corner. Yeah, he really burned his
they
bridges.
burned that bridge. Yeah.
He
Well,
said-
I wouldn't say that Cyborg burned his bridges. I would just say that WB did.
well, I mean,
WB burned the bridge.
I think Cyborg is being a little ridiculous, only because I should stop calling him Cyborg. What's his real name? What's his real name?
I don't know his actor.
Ray? Is his
Yeah,
first
Ray
name
Fisher.
Ray
Thank you.
Fisher.
Ray
That's
Fisher.
a famous actor.
Yeah.
That's Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
What?
He's in like
Damn.
plays. He's in plays and stuff. I think you know him from Broadway stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
That's so fucking weird.
He's
That's
Cyborg.
funny.
So Ray Fisher. Apparently there was some
the
racist
fuck?
stuff and going on during when Joss came in, and a lot of people can see
Really?
this. There's a lot of stuff online where they are showing pretty much every person of color besides Cyborg was cut from Justice League. Cyborg's mom, the Amazonian black chick that was in there, what's it called? Iris West, Flash's girlfriend, was cut from it. And all these things you could see are maybe coincidental, but coming from someone who says, yep, he had a lot of trouble with Joss Whedon on set, didn't like him. You should boycott Joss Whedon. Let's cancel Joss Whedon. But he didn't say anything that happened to him behind the scenes on set. So it's kind of sus.
Contract worthy, I imagine.
I don't even know if it's disclosed or any information or like anything like that. I think stuff like that he can say. If like, Joss Whedon is being racist on set, I don't think he's signed anything to say, oh yep, can't talk about his racism. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, you say that, but, like, I think there would. I think
you
there would
could-
be
you
something.
behind
could
closed
totally-
doors,
Do
they
you-
could have done that, but he's purposely making all this shit public, but he's not saying anything. Like, he's saying, come on, guys. Like, I'm not working with them at all. Fuck Joss Whedon. Fuck Walter Hamada. Cancel them, but I'm not going to tell y'all what they're doing. Like, really?
I'm saying like that specifically. That sounds like I'm contractually obligated, not. And this is speculation. Again, this is speculation.
Right.
I don't want to. Let me preface this by this
I
is
got you.
speculation. But like if an actor were to do that and be like, oh, I'm not going to talk about this specifically, but don't work with this person. Like
Right.
that's kind of like what people used to say about he killed himself.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. And people be like,
I was going to say Anthony Bourdain.
people
for
be like,
some
hey,
reason.
don't go to the private party at Jeffrey Epstein's. People would say that, but wouldn't say what the fuck happened. And people would be like, well,
Right.
you
They
know,
don't want to be on the list.
yeah, they don't want to be on the don't
Yeah.
don't make this person act list.
I think
so they
that's
don't say
different than
anything.
just being a racist on a movie set. You know what I'm saying?
It is different. It's one thing to be a child rapist, all right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to be a child rapist, and one thing to be racist on a movie set. Like those are both bad things.
Fucked up.
Yeah, those are both bad things, but they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
But
You can see
but
the differences.
I'm just saying, like contractually, I imagine that has a lot to do with it, especially if he's as vocal as you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was that stuff on set, so he's not going to be really in the MC or DCEU, I don't think. And that's kind of sucks because he was supposed to be Flash's secondhand guy in the Flash movie for a little bit, and then he was supposed to get his own movie. So I'm like,
Well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and apparently it's labeling that he's still gonna be in the Flash.
really?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought.
I don't know if that's his last time in DCEU, but it's.
I know he's got contracts, but he's saying he's not going to do it either way, and I'm like, all right. I mean,
that
that sucks for
something else.
him, and I would be on his side. Like, if there's something not to like about Walter Hamada or Joss Whedon, I'd like to know because,
Well, like I understand what you're saying. Like as a fan, I'd like to know, but like it's his experience, and it's hard to detract from that. It's one of those
Right.
things. I'm sure it's rough for him too. Like I'm sure there's a reason he
Mhm.
wouldn't say exactly what's going on. That's what I'm saying. Really, I'm sure there's a reason.
Right.
And like if that's contractual, if that's professional, I don't know, but I'm sure there has to be a reason.
All right. Now back from all of this behind the scenes stuff, back to the movie, just for a little bit before we go to our final thoughts on it. Which I'm basically about to ask you your final thoughts. Anything that you like noticed that you want to talk about or ask, or like things you just straight up didn't like, or things that you think were like the best part of the movie? What do you guys think is the best part of the movie?
Henry Cavill.
I can't say because I only watched the first.
Right.
All right, so you're asking.
I think
me,
it's
Gina.
the end fight when Superman comes back.
Oh, don't even give me.
You're not gonna like my answer, Tristan.
started.
What?
My favorite part of the movie,
Yeah.
the Flash's intro sequence and the trying to get hired.
It was a good
That's
In
scene.
the
favorite part
dog?
of movie.
The dog thing?
Yeah,
It
the
was
dog
a
thing.
dog
good
care thing?
scene.
That is my favorite part of the movie.
I think that, like, all right, half the scene is good. I think the driver, the trained professional truck driver in the middle of the
Dropping
fucking
a
city,
burger and
dropping a
being
burger for a full 2 minutes,
Fair.
like,
Literally, like,
seriously,
hold up, guys, I got this. I got it. I
it couldn't
got
have
it.
been like his
I got
tire,
it.
his brakes stopped working, like something like
Right.
that.
I see what you're
A
saying.
mechanical function.
I get what you're saying, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying like okay, like in my view of what the DCEU should be doing, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, because again, I'm gonna harken it back to the Avengers. The only comparable thing, really, it really is the only comparable thing.
I'll be right back while you guys talk about this.
Go ahead. The Avengers already have their characters established, and they don't need to do those kind of scenes.
Right.
Usually, they usually don't need to do those kind of scenes. But I've never seen a scene do so much better, like do so much in setting up a character as that scene did for the Flash. Like I cannot imagine the Flash without that scene right now, because that
Really?
scene it characterized him and gave him a future, gave him a girlfriend, a future, a whole character arc to experience after
Right.
the Justice League. Because
I
it never
agree.
gets touched on again. It gives them like feelings, emotions. It gives them something like give you something to relate to them. It's so much. I
Right.
think if every superhero movie didn't have other superhero movies to like back up off of and use their origin stories to like advance on, if the
Mhm.
Avengers came out before like Iron Man and Captain America is what I'm saying, really. And those kind of scenes happen, then it would work. is what I'm saying. That scene like sets up the Flash, and I like the Flash because of that scene. Because now I know he's funny. I know what his whole shtick is. I know his love thing. I understand his character because of that scene. And no other character introduction in any movie, I like in any comic book movie, has ever been that successful in doing all of those things at once. It shocks me and upsets me that, as you guys said, that doesn't really happen in the original. Like that really
The whole thing was
characterizes
cut out.
Flash. That's crazy.
The
I
whole
think that's
job,
crazy.
the whole thing.
I think
But
that's
yeah,
nuts.
to argue a little bit on what you're saying, I think all of the points that you said that make him a character that that you were excited to see that you learned him as a character, I think they already did that, or in all of the scenes before and all the scenes after, like him being a caring person, him trying to get his dad out of jail, boom, him being funny. They had plenty of scenes of him being funny in there. Then I'm like, I think just that whole scene could have been in a different movie or just not in the movie at all, despite it being very cool. And I, like I said, I'm with you. I love that scene. Him saving her, how they did it, the effects, the music. Like it was really telling without saying anything. You know what I'm saying? I like when artists in movies do that shit. So that was a positive
Yeah.
for like just my eyes like looking at all that. But
I'm gonna nerd out before you continue and move on.
Yeah,
to
go
that stuff. I just want to say, like, that is it could be the intro to the new, like, the Flash. That's how I feel that scene was, and they put it in Justice League, and I thought that was
yeah.
that what would have been a really good intro in a solo movie was instead put it into the combination movie with the character introduced. I think that's sick. I
Mhm.
really do think that. Which is, if they had done that to like Black Panther in Civil War or something, and made that their like his introduction, like I feel like Black Panther could have been a better character. Is what I guess what I'm saying. If they had if they had did that much more to
Right.
characterize them, I don't know. I don't think any comic movie's done that before.
I'm gonna still have to disagree with you on that, because even then, I think the stuff with him and his dad pretty much set that up right away. And I do think that when you add those things in there, like what you're talking about, depending on the context of that scene, which that scene in Justice League didn't really provide any context to the story whatsoever, it just fucks the pacing up of the movie as a whole. So I think what they did with Black Panther and Civil War, perfect introduction. Him saving the bad guy at the end really sets up what his character is, from him being hostile to him being humble, literally in just like the 10 minutes he has in the movie, or 15 minutes in the movie. So I can see where you're coming from, but just like me personally, I can see the vision and like why it was cut and stuff like that.
I could see why you're.
But I'm with
disagreeing
you.
me,
Like I
guess.
do like those scenes like that. Like
Yeah.
as
I
a
guess
scene.
we'll have to agree to disagree. I guess
Right.
it's one of those things, because like I could see from what you just said that we have very different opinions on that. Then
Right, like I'm
As
with
usual.
you, which I enjoyed
As
the
usual.
fuck out of it. I didn't hate the scene. Like I said, that was just one of the scenes where I thought so cool, awesome, just felt like it should have been in something else. You know what I'm saying?
as usual, me and Tristan agree on the big picture thing. The very small details, we're like, what the fuck
Right.
are you talking
And that's
about?
what makes this fun. Like that's why this is like a 2-hour podcast. That's just fun. Anything
Yeah.
you like about it, Gina? Like your favorite parts?
All right. Well, obviously everything that Henry Cavill's in is the best part for me. But anyways, no.
Lately.
Overall, I just think it was like a very
First.
solid, very good, like superhero movie. Like it's like good. It's just good. I don't know. Let me think. I know I had this whole time to just sit here and think, and I did.
Just sitting there like, what do you mean think?
I didn't do it.
Bobby and Tristan just argued for like
Man.
15 minutes.
I really wish that this just wasn't like a one-time thing, because like all the stuff that they set up for this, the vision that could have been for DCEU after this, it would have. Oh my god, it would have been awesome. I think it would have been at like MCU level at that point. But if they're not, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's still like a possibility where like it's probably a very small possibility, but
is possible.
I mean, it could be possible that they eventually just like are like, yeah, Joss Whedon's was trash. Let's just go ahead and go with the other one. But I don't know. I really hope they do that. But who knows?
And what I think is a mistake is that people who are higher up have said Zack Snyder's Justice League is not canon. Joss Whedon's is. So I'm like, what? That's a thing
even
where I'm
though,
like, yeah,
the
bet your fucking ass
storyline
it's
for
not.
it's so much better.
Yeah,
I mean, think about that though. This, yeah, obviously, like, I like this one. I like this one a lot, and
Right.
like you seem to like this one a lot better than the previous one, as does Gina. That's
100%.
that's my initial thing. You guys like this a lot better, but like, think about it from like an
90%.
executive point of view. They have like all these things filmed and plotted already that are based on what we already got in the original Justice League, and like, that's unfortunate, but they already have this plan, and they're gonna stick to that because they've already invested so much money into it. I'm not saying that's the way we should handle films and how we handle art. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm
Right.
saying, like, from their executive point of view, I understand why they're saying that. I get it. It
Yeah.
sucks, but I get it.
And they honestly, they probably hate it too because they saw how much everyone liked the Zack Snyder shit, and they're like, "Fuck."
I
Right.
know.
We already filmed like all
Right.
this shit. You know what I mean? So
I think this is
I'm
why
sure
Warner
they're also
Brothers
kind of
has done
fucking
no
themselves
marketing
right
for
now.
this movie. They didn't put any movie in for Zack's shit. This was HBO Max, like
right.
their stuff. They're the ones advertising it. Which I think it's kind of their job. I mean, it's on their fucking platform.
Right.
Warner Brothers, they're in the movie business. They own HBO Max, or I don't really know how the deal works between them, but I mean, they gave no effort. They knew they would look like fools if this movie came out and was critically successful. Like, they knew that they were on the wrong end of history. Like, and which is, I think that they're salty about it, which is why I think they might not ask him to come back. But who knows? Like we said, anything is possible.
Right.
If I could, okay, I'm sorry. Are you just gonna say agree?
I was just gonna say yeah.
Okay, well then, I guess, like, I think what the most ideal plotted choice would be, is it if they went ahead with whatever they were planning, and like made the original Justice League canon, like they kept doing that, they kept making the movies that they were gonna do, whatever the fuck they wanted. If Warner Brothers did that, and then the next Justice League movie, which I already know they're not doing, because I know it's Dawn of Justice and it's not Zack Snyder. And if they had just made him the director of that, then it would have been fine. I could have tolerated it and understood. But I know they're not doing that, and I know that, like, the shit that, like, tied in, like, Darkseid and stuff isn't really gonna happen at all. Now it's just like you got rid of all these like emotional investments into the series, I guess.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I
If
know
that
what
made
you're
a lot
saying.
of sense.
No, I get
And
exactly.
I think this calls like a question to, like, why doesn't HBO Max fund just Zack Snyder to do his second one and just put that up on streaming as well? And I'm just like, that is like hundreds of millions of dollars, like, that
a lot.
they just don't have, and that they're not going to get their returns on. Even, I just think that HBO is crazy enough to give him $100 million to just to finish the film that he had already, like, cut. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I imagine, like, the legal shit that went behind that too,
Right.
and like
Yeah.
that's the really difficult thing, I think. Again,
Which makes
it's
me
like,
think that
is
Warner
art good
Brothers
or bad?
owns
Like, I get it.
HBO, right? Which is kind of why, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, they could avoid all that if one parent company owns them all, which is Warner Media. So that's whatever.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, like, on one hand, that's bad, like, obviously, because monopolies is bad. But
right.
on the other hand,
Yes, sir.
hey, Disney makes good content, so it's
Yeah.
all right.
Hey, but it entertains me, so fuck it.
Hey, but
fuck.
someone
The
that I
MCU is
saw,
cool. Thank you, Disney.
I saw a very cool idea though. Why not make the like Zack Snyder's 2 Justice Leagues that he's gonna make animated movies? Which I know they make those shits for stupid cheap. Like, they put a new DC, like, animated movie out every year, like, for the Justice League and stuff like that. So I'm like, that would be very cool, very cheap, very plausible. And I'm pretty sure the actors wouldn't mind coming in and doing, like, voices for them or something. But I wouldn't even I wouldn't mind the Michael, I don't know if you see this, but they kind of got their own little universe going on with the same actors that they keep bringing in for the past couple years, right? With, like, the Batman and
They do.
Robin stuff.
The way the DC animated universe works is that they have I don't know if it's the same director, the same like just like art designer,
Showrunner.
things like that. Yeah, yeah, whoever it is. They have usually they give like spotlights to maybe certain comics or maybe certain things about it. I think one was like Batman Gotham Gaslight or Gaslit.
Oh yeah, they
something.
did Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, there you go. Which is like Gotham, but like in the past, like in like
It's in Victorian era, if I remember
Yeah,
right, because he
yeah,
ends
yeah,
up
yeah.
fighting Jack the Ripper,
yeah,
or
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to track down Jack the Ripper or something like that. It's
So,
a
like-
very fucking cool storyline.
Yeah, so like in the animated universe, they give like like certain spotlights to different comics, but they also have like an overarching like story sometimes, which is like they have like main character like the main cast of like Superman, Batman, Damian Wayne as Robin, things like that. Uh, one of the longer running ones was with Damian Wayne was started with Tristan would know. It's like is it Batman and Robin? No, it's
Yeah, it's
I thought that was Batman and Robin,
no,
is
there
that
was
the first one?
Son of Batman,
or Son of Batman.
Batman
yeah,
versus
Son of
Robin,
Batman?
then Bad Blood.
There you go. So yeah, so those were like three of the like they were the same storyline, not the same storyline, but like they had the same like
Same
characters.
universe.
Yeah, same universe, kept going. And then that went into Teen Titans, which was Teen Titans versus the Justice League, and then Teen Titans Judas Contract. So they have like long running like things already in that universe.
Even
also think-
then, Doom isn't Doom in that universe as well? Justice League Doom.
Yeah, yeah, they have
Yes.
they have like things that are like not like that's like one storyline that follows usually like
Mhm.
Batman, Robin, that's Damian Wayne, and it keeps following Damian Wayne. But they have like in that same universe like things with Superman. I think like the death of Superman was in there too.
Mhm.
I think in that same universe, and they also had the Suicide Squad movies in there too.
Yeah, was that the Judas
Yeah.
Contract or something like that, or
No, one was Hell to Pay, or that was like the second one.
right?
Which one? Both of them were really good. I like
Yeah.
them. But like those movies are consistently like, yeah, they're really good, and they're all part of the
the
same
animated
universe.
movies are all fire.
Because I noticed
Like
that.
I think
You go.
I think the lowest like rated one in terms of like opinion was like, yeah, it was pretty good. Like that's the lowest. You know what I mean? That's the worst review is like, yeah, it was pretty good, and then it goes up to like that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, DC's
in
animated
animated, I
game
love
is
their
top
animated
tier,
movies.
and like Marvel needs to do something about that. Like, I want to watch Marvel animated stuff, but they're all ass. Like, all the straight to video shit. It's god awful.
That's like one of those things where like, as we typically know, like I feel like as far as like Marvel things go, like they are like they have the MCU and that's like the best comic book film series.
Mhm.
But pretty much everything else DCU got, that
Yeah.
DCU has it.
Because they have the TV shows, and I mean now if you count the TV shows that Marvel's been making on Disney Plus,
Right.
I think they clearly beat Arrow and The Flash on
Oh
CW.
yeah.
But if
Right.
you're not counting that, if you're talking about just straight up TV network shit, like
I was talking about animated. I think DC's CW network stuff is ass. Like, I don't care if you're
Yeah.
a fan.
It's
If you
horrible,
like
yeah.
it, you're good. But to me, it's just fucking garbage. Like, I think Flash. I think a lot of people are like, no, but a couple of seasons of Flash is good, or like the beginning of Green Arrow was really good, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's like same thing with Agents of Shield. Like, it's just fucking. Like, they reference. Really, the only things that are cool about the show is the little references they do to the movies that really have nothing to do with it. They're just like they just do boring shit, and they're like, oh yeah, something about Thor's hammer, and then like people are like, oh my god, like yeah, this is awesome, and they keep watching. I'm just like, this is not good. But
yeah, I feel that.
no hate to
Yeah.
anybody that watches them. It's just they're not for me.
I mean, like my biggest issue with like Arrow in particular is that they make him really gritty and fucking like edgy. When Oliver
Oliver
Queen in
Queen.
the comics is the comic relief character, and I'm like, what the fuck? You made him Batman. Why is he Batman? He shouldn't be Batman.
For real. That's the thing though.
That's
They're
like
trying to
if
make
they made
every character
Daredevil in the
Batman.
Netflix series funny. That's like pretty much.
Yeah, it's like Daredevil's not supposed to be funny. What the fuck? Yeah.
which to this day, and again, this is my only good comparison is the MCU and Marvel properties
Right.
is like probably like as far as TV shows go with like Marvel character like comic book characters, Daredevil's the best one. It really is. I don't know. If
And
you guys
like
have
those
watched it.
shows.
Daredevil. The other ones, Jessica Jones is okay.
I was gonna say, I did.
Daredevil is really
Good.
good.
I'm gonna be honest.
Daredevil was
didn't-
really good. To me, that
Daredevil
was the
was
best one that they
incredible.
released.
I stopped at season 1 Daredevil. I didn't get into it. I heard season 2 Daredevil is really good, and then it goes into the
It is
Punisher,
really good.
which the people say the Punisher is really good. Which I would go back to those shows now, but I mean,
Yeah, they're canceled.
yeah,
know
they're
what I mean?
canceled
Yeah.
anyway. So I'm like,
Right.
I
So I
kind of
was
see
like, oh,
what's the
I need to
point.
catch up on them. And then I realized they're canceled. I'm like, oh, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's what I say,
I
and
still
I really
haven't-
shouldn't do that. Like I should
I
watch.
haven't
know,
all
yeah,
of
watched
I
the
Luke
agree.
Cage, and I
Shouldn't do
didn't
that.
finish Jessica Jones for those reasons. I was like, oh, they canceled them all.
Wait,
And I
have
didn't-
you finished season 1 Jessica Jones?
No,
At least do that for yourself. That's really good.
I will. I do want to
I heard
because
Luke
I mean,
Cage was awful.
David
David
Tennant's in it at the
Tennant,
very
yes,
least. Yeah, I was like,
David
at the
Tennant.
very least, David Tennant's in it, and I gotta fucking watch
God,
it. 'cause
I know
love
David
him.
Tennant's the bad guy, but I'm so attracted.
Did you guys see
God.
the
And
Dragon
he's such
Fist?
a creep too. Like he plays a
He's
creep
such a
Iron
villain,
Fist.
but he's so good.
Did you guys see the Iron Fist show? I heard that was god awful.
I did.
The
I
what?
actually watched
Oh,
the
the
whole
Iron
first
Fist
season.
show.
Yeah,
You watched
I
the
actually
first
watched-
season of Iron Fist?
Yep,
I didn't bother.
I wasn't.
I didn't
heard
I
fucking
it
did.
was
bother.
Well,
trash.
because I was so excited because Iron Fist is one of my favorite
cool.
Marvel heroes, and they really did not do him any service in that show. He's such a good character, and they really
Right.
did not do anything with him in that show, even
Yeah.
though I thought it was okay. I honestly, a lot of people trashed on it. I was like, it's okay, but it doesn't do what I wanted it to do, so I understand people
I
not
watched
liking
all
it.
of the Netflix stuff up until the first season of The Defenders, and God,
I didn't watch The Defenders at all.
right, good. It was
I didn't
horrible.
watch The Defenders at all.
God, imagine if you took like you literally gave all those characters a season. Imagine if like this is what the Avengers did, right? And like they gave all these characters seasons through which they can progress as characters, and then put them in a group like thing, put them in a group setting. Imagine the Avengers, and then all of their character development out the window. Tony once again is a
Really?
fucking arrogant prick, and like imagine that.
Oh.
It's like
Come
fuck too, and they did
on.
that's what the Defenders is. It's like they forgot all the lessons they have learned. It's like fuck
That's tough.
that. It's
That's
it's
tough.
horrible. It's a good thing you haven't watched it. It's a good thing you
Okay.
haven't invested
Yeah,
yourself in the
I-
Defenders because
yeah.
the Defenders made me stop watching all that shit. I was like done.
I liked the idea of the Defenders because like it
The
was
idea
a
is good.
smaller it was a smaller Avengers. It was a local
Right,
Avengers
a
almost,
local
you know what I mean?
a local Avengers with whole seasons worth of
Right.
content to dig into, and it was terrible.
And they just
That's
didn't do
tough.
anything with it. That's
They
tough.
didn't do anything with it.
That's very
Christ.
tough.
Back to
I can see why they get
DC.
canceled. Oh
Getting
yeah,
back to
DC, right?
Getting back to DC though, did you guys watch like the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff, like that they
No,
did
I
with the
wanted to,
CW?
though. I wanted to. I didn't because I can't bring myself to go through Arrow. like
Right, like they do reference a lot of Arrow. Like it's basically Arrow shit.
I mean, Arrow was like the starting
The
point.
OG.
It was like getting rid of fucking like Iron Man. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't know.
Right.
It like if you get rid of if you didn't watch any of Iron Man shit and then did Avengers, that's what
Right.
it seemed like to me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking watch Arrow. like,
I was gonna
fuck it.
say like they had a couple like I don't watch those CW shows, but I'll watch clips and stuff from like the crossover events because I think those are pretty cool. And because they had I don't know if you guys know Kevin Conroy, he does like the voice of Batman for like
Yeah.
years and stuff. He was Batman in one of those episodes, and I liked it.
Oh, I
um,
think I heard about that.
And then Ezra Miller showed up as the Flash in one of the Flash episodes. Like I thought that was really cool too, so I checked that out. Those episodes are decent, but I heard that they're the better ones when it comes to their shows. So, Ben, if you were gonna say something.
All right, let me tell you something. I watched. I was very into Flash and Arrow for like the first couple seasons because the first couple seasons are pretty good, and then I'll just spoil Green Arrow because it doesn't really matter because you guys don't
Go
care about
for
it.
it, man.
So like
You know, Bobby.
like the first two or three seasons were solid, and then they got to like I can't remember if it was like the third or fourth season, but he like Oliver Queen dies like 3 or 4 times in the entire season.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, dude, what is this? Like, people just kept dying and like not staying dead and just like coming back like every episode, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, this is just stupid. But like, it sucked because you had to watch Green Arrow and Flash at the same time because it had those like crossover episodes. So you're like, in order to watch the cool crossover episodes, you gotta watch every single episode.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't like how the Arrowverse was handled. I think the Flash had moments. Like I only watched the Flash in pieces in passing, but I know when they did the Flashpoint storyline in it, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. They brought in shit from the Flash's universe, like the comic book shit, that I thought was really cool, but they could have done it better. There was just so much shit in it that was so off, and what really threw me off was the Arrowverse. Like I said,
Thank you for the 5,000
Yeah.
bits.
oh yes, thank you for the biddies. Thanks
Who we
for the
get bidding
biddies.
from? What? Hey,
But
thank you for the biddings.
The
Whoa.
hidden
thank you
demon.
for the biddies. We
Thank
love
you
it.
for the big old.
The bitty
Biddies.
The big old biddies.
I literally was saying it. I was like, that's right.
Just,
Nope,
just
keep
really,
going.
yeah, they really have changed. Now they're dissing Tony. He's arrogant.
I thought they were talking about because we were talking about Iron Man. They were talking
Oh.
about Tony. I think he was trying to say that Tony Stark is still
Oh,
arrogant.
Tony
and
Stark
to that,
is arrogant.
And to
But
that
also, but
point,
also Tony,
like
he sucks.
also me, I fucking blow. But but to that point, I wanted to address that in chat. Tony does remain arrogant throughout the whole thing. The difference is he's not as self-preserving as he was in the beginning. In the very beginning, he's like, "No, fuck everybody else. It's just me. I want to be rich and I want to keep making arms and shit." And then as his character progresses, he fucking flies a nuke into space, not planning on coming back. That's the difference in character arc to me. Anyway, back to DC. Arrow fucking sucks because they didn't do his character justice. That's what I wanted to say. Move on. That's all. That's my beef with the kitty. There you go. Stream saved. We brought in the cat.
Well, I mean, like, I guess that's the difference between Iron Man and most rich superheroes or rich characters.
Mhm.
Is that like he gives up that stuff immediately. Iron Man 1, I would argue.
Yeah.
He gives that shit up immediately. Like he comes back from his experience in the caves, and Tristan's so mad because we're talking about the fucking MCU again. but he comes back from the cave. He comes back from the caves, and the first thing he does is like, "Oh, we're giving up the Amish division of our company." That's the first thing he does. So it's easy to like him as a character because
Yeah.
You see there's an arrogant asshole, but you see immediately like at like
Hey, thanks for
30
the
to 45
sub.
minutes.
Let's go.
Hey, we got a
Leaf
sub,
Shot
let's go.
18
But you see
officially
in
joined
the
the
35 to 40 minutes, 5 minutes
847
in the
club.
movie,
Less than
he already
3.
has given that up, and he's a good
Right.
character now. Good character, you know what I mean? Like he's growing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I wanted to address that earlier, but then we started going so off topic. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna let that comment die in chat. But 100%. Hey, look at the gifted. Thank you, Renfrew. We appreciate it, bro.
Let's
Alright.
go.
I've gifted. Let's go.
You can have it.
You can have it.
Let me go to the bathroom.
You can have
Go
it.
for it, homie.
Say thanks.
Yeah. So what's that? Wow, that cat gunning for Gina.
Say
Fuck
thanks.
out of here. Did you get? Is she declawed
You can have it.
on her front
Say
paws?
thanks.
No, okay.
Nah, she got them.
Sad,
Yeah.
Bro, thank this dude. Renfrew's
God
bear down. The fucking goat.
Renfrew,
Thank
absolute
you,
goat.
Copy, for subscribing again. 2 months.
For 2 months. Let's go.
2 months.
Hold on.
2 months in.
I need a picture first.
Take a picture of the cat.
Back to sleep, somebody.
If you don't post it on the 847 Club's like Instagram/Twitter, I'm gonna fight you, Gina. Midstream cat pics must be posted on all of our social media. How Canes sound in big? I still got chicken nuggies to eat here, but I mean, fuck it, I'll do Canes. I don't really give a fuck. Canes sounds bomb as hell right now. I want more lemonade.
She's gonna attack the cord.
Yeah, it will happen. I forgot you couldn't put headphones back on because you were holding a
Put
cat.
it, you put it over.
It
Good
happens.
Now she's got the cord.
I don't chew on it.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
The cat playing with the headphone wire.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Kitty.
Dang,
Just
killing
sleeping.
me.
What are you guys doing?
All right. Oh,
We're doing
oh
a
boy.
review of what?
Visiting guest.
Yeah, you guys want to
Well-
wrap up? Give scores if you guys want. I mean, Tony hasn't seen it. He's got to finish.
I give
I was
it.
gonna say, I was
a
like, I'm pretty
score
sure
out of
you two already
score.
gave you your 8.5s. I don't know what Gina's rating is.
A lot.
It was an 8. I'd say
An
8.
eight.
Whoa. That's a lot.
Just because I
For-
think it's
for Justice League?
because I think it's because I've seen the original and that was just like utter garbage. So then this one was like 20 bajillion
Not
times
even that, I
better.
just think this is a really good movie.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Who's Harry
Who's Harry
Potter?
Okay. Well, understand
damn.
that my rating right now is the most impartial rating you could possibly get.
Fair.
I have only seen Wonder Woman. This is essentially my first DCEU movie. It is a 7 to 7.5 at most.
That's higher than
I think that's fair. I mean, you guys are in the same range of like 7 to 8.
I just think 8's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot considering how fucking slow the beginning is. If the beginning
Yeah.
was paced better, I give it maybe a 9.
think if
That's
the
how
movie was paced
good the movie
better.
could be.
There
If
were-
the
there were
movie was
scenes-
paced better.
There were scenes sprinkled throughout the movie that shouldn't really
Gina, move
be
that
there.
mic over for Tristan, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
There were scenes in the movie like that shouldn't have been there, like sprinkled out throughout the movie. So I think if they just cut 40 minutes, 30 minutes of it, I think this movie would have fucking
Right.
rocked, you know?
I'm with you. Like I said, a lot of the stuff in the beginning could have been condensed down, and just edited to be a little more concise. Because it, like we said, that first hour and 30 minutes is all exposition. So if you just trim that, I'll watch the rest of the movie eventually because it sounds like literally right after I stopped, it just takes off and is immediately better. So I'll revisit it again and maybe tweet something about like an update. I don't know. Not that anyone gives a fuck, but yeah. And then, but just based off of the beginning, I already know it's all exposition, but it's all necessary. So I get it. So yeah.
Wanna take her?
Go, Michael. You look like you want to give your score on a movie you didn't watch.
I give this movie a score out of
A score out of
Score.
score.
Yep.
That's generous.
Fair.
Pretty generous.
Very generous of you.
You know what?
Honestly,
All right.
way too high.
I'm
Way
gonna
too
say-
fucking high.
Sorry, I'm gonna give Harry Potter a 7 out of 10.
Harry Potter.
Somebody gives this
Fair.
movie 7. More like a 6 because I didn't give her any snacks when we were watching it.
I would say it's a Deathly Hollows out of like Monsters of Griswold.
Right. Yeah, no, I like this movie. I'm gonna watch it again.
I
wish
actually
there was
didn't
a
like
cut
the
of
Harry
this-
Potter movies.
Wow. All right, that's a whole nother convo.
Wait, you didn't watch any of that? Yeah, we'll
No,
talk about that
no,
later.
I watched them. I said I didn't like them. As they get
Fair.
That's
later
even
on.
worse.
Bobby,
We're
I
gonna
know
talk about that
Bobby hasn't
later.
watched 'em.
Right, which I mean, we're definitely gonna be doing more movie podcasts like this eventually.
We need to show Bobby like the Dark
reacting
Knight
to
series.
these. Yes.
We
I
need
told
to
him. I told
have
Bobby.
him
I was
watch-
like, wait for the vaccinations. Once this pandemic
Yes!
is over, he's coming over and we're watching this.
yes.
The Dark Knights. I was like, it's just gotta
Absolutely.
happen. Maybe
I'll
we'll do
just
like a
make you
watch
guys-
along.
I'll make you guys watch animated movies.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll
Okay.
do
I mean,
that stuff.
I mean, Master?
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, for
assuming
real? Yeah.
this is-
Yeah.
Sorry. I should be plugging this stuff.
He
Uh,
just end stream.
Click.
Thank you guys for watching. Bobby, do you want to do a little outro while I do this?
Yeah.
Sorry if
Thank you
you're
guys for
reading.
watching. No, I'm just eating these fucking peanut butter cups. They're so good. Yeah, sponsored?
Hot.
No, I'm joking. We're not
Hot.
sponsored.
It's not sponsored.
We're not sponsored. But yeah, we're the 847 Club. We're a YouTube channel primarily. We used to be. We're thinking about getting back into that soon. So if you guys will subscribe to our YouTube, you'll be getting some of that content. We regularly we're on Discord. If you want to talk to us in general, you communicate through our Discord. One of us will get back to you pretty much no matter what. If you just want to talk about whatever. There's also a general gaming thing. If you want to play games with somebody on the 847 Club Discord, there's always somebody who wants to play games. I fucking promise that. There's so many unrequited requests to play games on our Discord. I promise.
Tough.
So yeah, subscribe to our YouTube. You can join our Discord to talk to us about anything. We got a film channel, a music channel, game channel. We got all sorts of shit. And then we got our daily. We got our Twitch channel. Obviously, you guys are on it right now. If you haven't followed-
Tony's
if you-
nummies.
More Tony's nummies.
Tony's Nummies. They'll come back.
The request
come
to
back?
come back. I will. I'll
Bring
do it
them
again.
back.
But we got
And
the
even-
Twitch channel. We stream typically every Saturday, but we lately we've been just streaming whenever we want.
It's gonna be
So you're
more.
always welcome to join.
I promise.
There is
Follow
gonna
if
be
you
more.
follow if you haven't already. You can always subscribe. We'd fucking love that. As you see, we give a lot of love to our subscribers. Thank you very much for watching. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night.
And with that said, peace.
Feel me? Don't give a fuck if it kill me.